Forefront Radio. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. Hope everybody's doing all right. All right, so we're going to get into another discussion today about Christopher Columbus and the destruction of the New World and correlated to biblical-based prophecy. The reason why we're going to do that is a lot of times people ask us questions about whether the native indigenous populations and the Hispanics, as well as blacks that live in Latin America and the Aboriginals, if they are actually the Israelites. So we're going to go into history and prove the fact that they are out of historical sources, as well as the Bible. Do me a favor, if you're new to the Forefront Radio, make sure you follow our account here. Click the follow button if you haven't followed us before. Just tell you a little bit about us. The Forefront Radio is a diaspora channel. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you are the lost tribes of Israel according to the Bible and according to prophecy. A lot of times we talk about black history, but today we're going to do a deep dive into native indigenous populations in the Americas specifically, okay? The reference that we're going to read is from a book called A Short Account of the Destruction of the Indies. This is written by a person by the name of Bartolomé de las Casas. Okay. Bartolomé de las Casas is the author of this particular book. So we're going to go into some of that history, so that way you can familiarize yourself with why we say that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the lost tribes of Israel. So, but before we do, we always want to start off with scriptures so we can lay a foundation, because the Bible says you're going to know the truth and the truth is going to make you free. Let's go to Deuteronomy. No, let's go to Leviticus. Normally we use Deuteronomy. Let's go to Leviticus today. Because a lot of times we come across Christian apologetics and they think that they could come against us in Deuteronomy 28. So now we're going to bust them over the head with Leviticus, because they think they know the Bible, but they don't. Leviticus chapter 26. Let's start at verse 1. It says, "You shall make no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God." So one of the very foundations that God said to the 12 tribes of Israel was that you should not have any idol, any false deity. Okay? So now, let's examine the generational blessings and curses. Thank you for following, Ellie Smith. Thank you. Let's notice the generational blessings and the generational curses. It says, verse 2, "You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and in the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit." So this is going into blessings in regards to your crops, blessings in regards to your natural resources. Thank you for following, Kylie. All right. It says, "And you will eat your bread to the full." It says, "And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and you shall eat your bread to the full and dwell in your land safely." So when it came to native indigenous populations in the continent of Africa and in the Americas, prior to our ancestors coming to the Americas, the Bible says if we kept the commandments, we would have an abundance of natural resources, okay? That's what that's saying. Watch this. It says, "And I will give you peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land." So now this is a key factor to focus on. The sword shall not go in your land, meaning you're not going to have war. So let me pause and take a side note. These people that's over there in the so-called Middle East, are they at war right now? The answer is yes. So the Bible says when the real Israelites are keeping the commandments, when they walk in the ways of the Most High, he says, "I will bring peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil." So think about it. They're laying down, and all of a sudden they're waking up 2, 3 in the morning, and the sirens blaring at the top of the horn, and they're afraid in the land because there's no peace in the Middle East. So obviously this prediction is not talking about them. Let's continue. Just something to make you go, if they're really the lost tribes of Israel like the Bible says, why is there no peace in the land? Things that make you go, I wonder, right? Let's continue. Let's go to verse 7. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. That means a contract, a promise. This is what God said to the children of Israel, right? It says in verse 10, and ye shall eat your old store and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you, and I will walk among you and will be your God, and you will be my people. So when you read that in the New Testament, right, where it says, I will be your God and they shall be my people, that's talking to the ancient Hebrews. Not religious converts to Talmudism, not religious converts to Christianity, not religious converts to Islam. This is talking about an actual people. Okay? So now notice this. It says, I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt. You shall not be their bondmen, that you should not be their bondmen. So the term bondman, can you write it in the chat? What is another term for a bondman? Somebody that's in bondage, somebody that has a chain around their, good day to you as well, around their wrist or around their neck. What is a bondman? That means a slave man. So why does God have to remind these people that they were enslaved in Africa? Because guess what? Egypt is in Africa. Did Polish people go into slavery in Africa? No. Did Germanic people go into slavery in Africa? No. What about people that are Russian, right? That call themselves Yiddish, Jewish, with the letter J? Did they go into slavery in Africa? I don't recall. So this Bible has its roots in Africa, not in Europe. Let's read on. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the warm greetings. It says that you should not be their bondmen, and I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you to go upright. So God says, I'm going to establish you as an empire on the earth. These are the groups of descendants of enslaved persons coming out of Egypt in the Bible, which is in Africa, and now establishing their own constitution. Shalom to you as well. Thank you for the greetings. May the Most High watch over you all. So now that we have that underway, let's examine native indigenous populations. This was the blessings for their land, for their natural resources, for their family, for their crops, given to a specific people. So now, if you break the commandments, the opposite also would take place. And we're going to go into the history of this, okay? Watch this. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 14. But if you will not hearken unto me, and will not do these commandments, and if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that you break my covenant. So God is telling them something specific. If you break my promise, my contract, this is some heavy stuff. Watch this. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, that's going into tuberculosis, and the burning ague, that's going into disease, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. So now, God says to the children of Israel, let's examine so-called native indigenous populations. He said, if you didn't listen to what I'm telling you and do or apply my commandments, I will appoint over you terror. Okay? So when Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, Did he vote for the land? Did he have treaties and agreements with these people? Or did he bring forth terror and terrorize them? Write it in the chat. I want to gauge the audience here. When Christopher Columbus came across the native indigenous populations in the Americas, did he show them love and appreciation, or did he terrorize them? Let's see what the audience says. Let's see if anybody's well-versed with history. All right, let's see what the comments say. Let's get y'all comments in the comment section. What was going on with Christopher Columbus? He took it by force. Correct. Excellent answer. Excellent answer. Somebody said first he pretended to be friends with them and then he terrorized. Correct. Yes, exactly. So we touched on our previous conversation about the effects of what they did in Haiti. Now we're going to read what they did in the islands of Puerto Rico and Jamaica. This is for educational purposes only. We're doing this to increase awareness as to who the lost tribes of the Bible are, so that way you're aware, okay? Christopher Columbus was conscripted by Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain, okay? All right, the islands of Puerto Rico and Jamaica. This is from the book by University of Kentucky.edu. It says, in 1509, the Spanish, that comes from Spain, with the same purpose in mind as they had when they landed on Hispaniola. If you don't remember our conversation about Hispaniola, my recommendation is go to the Forefront Radio on YouTube, Forefront Radio 2.0, and you'll be able to see the previous lesson on this discussion. It says, with the same purpose in mind as they did when they landed in Hispaniola, found their way, hold on a second. There we go. All right. Found their way to the verdant islands, meaning the evergreen islands of Puerto Rico and Jamaica. Both of them lands flowing with milk and honey. Listen to the verbiage that they're using here. Lands flowing with milk and honey, meaning an abundance of natural resources. Remember, God said to the Israelites that if you keep my commandments, I'm going to give you your rain in due season, your crops are going to grow. Christopher Columbus knew that the region that he invaded was called Arsareth. Arsareth is based on 2nd Ezra chapter 13, which was a newfound land where nobody was living, which is the New World. So they knew who they were encountering because they brought forth Hebrew-speaking translators to speak to the native indigenous population that they called Indios or Negros or Morenos. Okay? Listen close. It says land flowing with milk and honey. Here, they perpetrated the same outrages and committed the same crimes as before. Devising yet further, hold on a second, y'all. It says, devising yet further refinements of cruelty, unaliving the native people, emulating them and roasting them, all right, alive, throwing them to wild dogs, and then oppressing, tormenting, plaguing them with toil down the mines and elsewhere. So once again, unaliving off these poor innocents to such effect that where the native population of 2 islands was certainly over 600,000, and I personally reckon it at more than 1 million, fewer than 200 survive on each of the 2 islands. Wow. Wow. So imagine a population close to 1 million and unaliving them where both islands had 200 apiece. Through working them on the mines, through having them being thrown to wild dogs, through unaliving them, and oppression and cruelty, y'all. Very important to understand this history, especially for the so-called Indios, so-called Aboriginal, so-called Indian, so-called Native Indigenous, so-called Hispanic, so-called Black. Watch this, the mainland. It was in 1514 that a governor landed on the mainland. This man, hold on a second, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties with this application right now. This man who descended of the region like the wrath of God was the cruelest of tyrants, totally devoid as he was of any feelings of mercy or even of common sense. He was determined to settle the whole area with Spaniards. The mainland had seen its share of despots before, who had pillaged and unalived and alienated the local people. But their depredations and iniquities, meaning sin, had so far been confined to the coastal areas. This individual, however, outstripped all his predecessors, transcending in cruelty even those that had ravaged the islands, and his devilish deeds surpassed all the abominations that had been taken place before his arrival. Wow. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. So that's just an excerpt from the book. If I got into all the things that's going on in this book, TikTok would flag me again and say, oh, you can't say that. That's bad speech and all of that stuff. So I'm censoring it and giving you soft language of what was going on and reading it for you. It's available on universityofkentucky.edu. It's called a short account or a brief account of the destruction of the Indies. So now let's read the Bible and let's make a parallel here. Let's go back to Leviticus 26. These are all prophecies, future prophecies about the Israelites. Listen close. It says, Leviticus 26, verse 16, I also will do this unto you, if you despise my statutes, if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do my commandments, but that you break my covenant. So now this is a divine being saying to his children, there's blessings for obedience and generational curses for disobedience. Let's examine this and parallel it to what we just read in the history book. It says, I will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, the burning ague that shall consume the eyes, cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. So now, that means the native indigenous populations, right? Okay. Somebody said Hispanic is not RACE. Argentina, Uruguay are 90% European descent. Cuba is 64 European descent. What we're speaking on today, we're not talking about those that migrated. We're talking about those of Afro-Hebraic and indigenous percentages, okay? We're not talking about Blanquiamento. We're familiar with that history where colonizers came from Germany and Portugal and Spain and invaded those areas and migrated there just like people migrated to the Americas. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the original inhabitants and their interactions with these Eurocentric groups that came in. Okay, that's what I'm referring to. So just in case if anybody needs clarity, okay? I'm not referring to people that come from Poland that went on a ship and went and migrated to Brazil. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about moderators. We got somebody that's on here placing Ooga Booga. I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people. Please, moderators, assist me with anybody that's putting inappropriate comments in the chat, okay? All right, so let's continue. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 17. It says, I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursue you. So now, did the native indigenous inhabitants that lived in these areas, we just read the document that said 1 million people that were living in these areas, right? When Christopher Columbus, Hernan Cortez, and many of these other cohorts came to the region as conquistadores, they unalived several people by the hundreds of thousands, close to millions of people. It's estimated that well over 200 million people in the Americas alone was impacted by the invasion of folks that were manifesting their destiny, quote unquote. Okay? So we're reading the history book and we're reading the Bible and we're making parallels here. This is the proof that these folks are Israelites according to the Bible. Then it says, and if you will not for yet all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sin. So now let's do a count. The children of Israel, right? They were first enslaved by the Egyptians. That's 1. Then the major captivities, we're not talking about the minor captivities. The major captivities include what? You had the Egyptians, that's 1. You had the Assyrians, that's 2. You had the Babylonians, that's 3. You had the Persians, that's 4. You had the Greeks, that's 5. You had the Romans, that's 7. Then, yes, the Persians include the Medes and the Elamites. So the Persians, that's the Medes and Elamites. Okay? So number 7 is Europe and the Americas, and also including the Arabs too. That was the 7th major captivity. So 7 times, God says he would measure judgments upon his people due to disobedience to his law. So this is why it's very important when you come across people in the Christian communities that you shut down their foolishness, because they'll tell you, we don't got to keep God's laws. God's laws are done away with. They have no understanding of what that means, because the direct people of God went into captivity due to what? Disobedience to his commandments. Okay? Y'all understand that? So we have an entire population that speaks a new language called Spanish that wasn't their original language, that speak French, which was not their original language, that speak also English, which is not their original language. So now, why is that important? It's important because we want to make these connections between history and prophecy. That's a correct statement. Obedience is better than sacrifice. If we were obedient to the Creator, thank you for following, Eric V. I appreciate you. If we were obedient to the commandments, we would have no need for a sacrificial system. If we are obedient to the commandments, we would have no need for a Messiah to come now and deliver us from our oppression and captivity. Okay, let's continue. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. You're in for a treat, Brother Jose, because we're actually reading right now about the history of Puerto Rico and Jamaica. So you're in for a treat. Let's continue with the article that we have, The Destruction of the Indies by Bartolomé de las Casas. All right, let's continue where we left off. It says, the individual, however, outstripped all his predecessors, transcending the cruelty even those that had ravaged the islands, and his devilish deeds surpassed all the abominations that had taken place before his trial. Nor did he confine his attentions to the coastal area, but cut great swaths through the interior, driving the locals out, unaliving left, right, and center, and dispatching everyone he encountered to hell. Okay, listen to this. He devastated the land for many leagues north of Darien, right up to including the kingdom and provinces of Nicaragua. So the devastation that these individuals were doing, Christopher Columbus, reached all the way from the Caribbean islands to the mainland, like Florida. That's why they have a fascination with Ponce de Leon, and Mexico and Honduras and Nicaragua and all of these areas. Okay, showing you how negatively Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cuba, the British Isles, the French Isles, the Spanish Isles, all those areas in the Caribbean and the archipelago, Florida, right, Louisiana, going all the way over to, because there were people in these areas. There were people here before Christopher Columbus, and who were they? According to the Bible, they're the 10 tribes of Israel. Listen close. It says, Nicaragua, a distance of more than 500 leagues over some of the most fertile, hold on a second, y'all. Give me 1 second. My technology is glitching out on me, y'all. Okay, here we go. Whoa. There we go. Okay. It says, the kingdom and provinces of Nicaragua, a distance of more than 500 leagues over some of the most fertile and densely populated areas. Listen to this. Densely populated areas. They make it seem like the people that were there, yes, it was God's plan to punish the Israelites. Correct. Good statement. Because this would lead them to cry out for a savior, a redeemer, to deliver them from captivity. That's the purpose of Christ, by the way. Okay? Christ is to save his people from their sins and from all that don't have their best interests at heart. So it says, nowhere in the face of the earth had such an enormous wealth of gold been discovered, for although the island of Hispaniola had filled Spain to overflowing with gold, and the gold of the highest quality, this had all to be extracted from the bowels of the earth by the sweat and tears and blood, of the natives who toiled down the mines, and as we have noted, perished there. So y'all understand what we're going over here. Exactly what God says would happen did happen. Exactly what we read in the Bible came true. So now somebody might ask the question, where can I find in the Bible that the 10 tribes of Israel came into the Americas? Let's cover that real quick. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. That is what we call the New World. The New World. Listen close. And that they might keep their statutes there, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. Meaning what? Passed over the ocean. Passed over the ocean. It says, for through that country there was a long way to go, a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years. So it took them 1.5 years to sail around Africa to get to South America and work their way up. Okay? So the Bering Strait theory is completely illogical, because it makes no sense to travel through a winter and a desert tundra region to get to fertile land. No, it makes more sense that you travel around Africa of tropical regions and go on a ship and cross over into the New World. And it's this biblical prophecy of what happened in the BC times. This is around 700, 720, 730 BC. Around that time is when this is occurring, y'all. Prior to Christ, prior to, the Babylonian captivity, This is after the Assyrian captivity, okay? It says, for through that country was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. So that's the time frame it took them, a year and 6 months. And the same region is called Arsareth. So guess what? Christopher Columbus read this text and discovered, quote unquote, that there were people in the Americas, and it was not called by Amerigos Vespucci. It was not called by Christopher Columbia, because we got a country called Columbia. We got District of Columbia. But the original name was not Turtle Island, like some people postulate. It was called Arsareth. The New World, the Americas, were called Arsareth. So if we don't descend from Amerigos Vespucci, how can we call ourselves Native Americans? If we don't originate from Spain, how can we say we're property of Spain or Hispanic? Somebody says, you are from Africa. Okay, which part of Africa am I from? There's 54 countries in Africa. You have Egypt, you have Sudan, you have Somalia, you have Ethiopia, you have Eritrea, you have Uganda, you have Nigeria, you have Congo, you have Malawi, you have Botswana, you have Zimbabwe. If you know me so well, Jerry, you tell me where in Africa I'm from. Because obviously, we don't suffer from Eurocentric delusionalism. You're not going to tell me where I'm from. I'm going to tell you where you're from. Because guess what? We're reading out of the Bible. So if you don't like the information presented, it's okay. We're here to cause you to do critical thinking skills. If people don't like to use their brains, go watch people eat Tic Tacs on TikTok. It's okay. There is absolutely no evidence to support your delusion. Watch this. University of Kentucky. Watch this. University of Kentucky. So is Harvard University delusional? Yeah, I love this. I love this. Yeah, I want the smoke. You ready for it? Let's get it. Let's read this historical document before the commenter came in and started saying egregious statements. Right? This is why I love when commenters come and they disagree with the content so I can embarrass them. Watch this. This is web.as.universityofkentucky.edu. Let's read it again and let's make the parallels here. Let's make the parallels of what we're reading here, because the topic of today's conversation is Christopher Columbus and the destruction of the New World. So let's see if he destroyed the New World. Let's see. Let's find out. This is Bartolomé de las Casas, who wrote the book, A Brief Account of the Destruction of the Indies. All right, let's continue where we left off. All right, about the destruction of the Indies. It says, from the very beginning, let's start back where we left off. It says, this governor and his men dreamed up new ways of tormenting the native population and whole techniques for torturing them in order to force them to reveal the whereabouts of their gold and to hand it over. So are we reading a historical book? Yes, we are. It says a Franciscan friar. So now this is a Roman Catholic church being involved. Watch this. A Franciscan friar, Francisco de San Roman meaning Roman, witnessed at first hand an expedition mounted by the governor and by one of his right-hand men to wipe out the natives and rob them of everything they possessed. Wow. His report suggests that this expedition alone resulted in the deletion of over 40,000 natives who were variously put to the sword, burned alive, thrown to wild dogs, subjected to unalivement and torture of one form or another. So now let's read the same thing in the Bible for the dummies in the back that don't like it to read. Watch this. Leviticus chapter 26, Verse 17, and I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursue you. Wait a minute. Did Christopher Columbus come as an enemy to the natives and unalive them, and rule over them? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. So we're reading the Bible, which is a prophecy, a prophetic verse, and we're correlating it to the history of the so-called Hispanics. So now a Eurocentric delusion will be like, well, so what? Well, so what? We're talking about millions of people. Do you think something as significant as what we're reading here would not be documented in the greatest history book known to mankind? Now the scoffer says in my TikTok live, which part says they were black? Wait a minute. Watch. Let's find out. I love it. Thank you for asking that question, because somebody might have that question too. Which one says they are black? Jeremiah chapter 14 verse 2, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black, they are black, they are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is going up. Hey! Does this say they are black? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Lamentations, wait a minute. Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21. Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21. I love it. Hey, bring on your comments. Let's do it. Let's do it. Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21, for the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt. I am black. I am black. I am black. Astonishment has taken hold on me. Does this say I am black? Yes or no? Was the prophet Elijah black? Yes. Prophet Elijah came from the Israelites, and they were compared to black Ethiopians. I'm just reading the Bible, y'all. Wow. It's either you believe the Bible or you don't. And if you don't, it's okay. Kick rocks with no shoes on. Kick a boulder. Walk outside in the middle of the street and step on some glass. I don't care. Watch this. I'm sorry. I gotta be just as sarcastic as these sarcastic people. Amos chapter 9 verse 7. Amos chapter 9 verse 7. It says, Are you not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel, O children of Israel, O children of... Why is the children of Israel being compared to black Ethiopians? Somebody says, what does the Bible have to do with the Americas? We just read in the Bible. Watch this. Here's what it has to do. For the dummies that don't like to read. Reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. Watch this. This is what the Bible has to do with America. Luke chapter 21 verse 24. And they, referring to the Israelites, shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the time of the Gentiles. The Gentiles are in rulership right now. That's why they feel very comfortable providing their own insults to information being presented to them. So now ask them a question. Did so-called native indigenous populations, Hispanics and black people, get sold as slaves in all nations, including what? Christopher Columbus bringing them into slavery and dragging them across the world to Spain? So-called Africans being dragged across to the Americas? What does this have to do with America? We're just reading the Bible. Either you get it. The parallels are striking, y'all. The parallels are striking. Very amazing to read this here. Let's continue with the article. It says, his report suggests that his expedition alone resulted in the deletion of 40,000 natives who were variously put to the sword, burned alive, thrown to wild dogs, or subjected to some form of deletion or another. From the beginning, Spanish policy towards the New World has been characterized by blindness of the most pernicious kind. This is contributing to how it's very important that we tell our own history. Don't leave it for the colonizer and the settler to tell you about you. Research your own history and become informed yourself. All right. So I thoroughly crushed Jerry Casper, the friendly ghost, with his foolish comment. I thoroughly dismantled him using both historical texts and biblical references. So we prove what we say. Thank you so much, moderator, for moderating. All right, let's continue. It says, from the very beginning, Spanish policy towards the New World has been categorized by blindness and the most pernicious kind. So now, does the Bible talk about the New World? Let's find out. 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 41, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes. Which tribes? The 10 tribes of Israel. Which tribes? Shalom to you, Goldie Swag. Hope you're doing well. See, even Goldie, I respect Goldie because Goldie comes on here and she's very respectful. Okay? Goldie is from Eurocentric background, but she respects the information presented here. Not like some of her cousins and them that's on here that don't want to listen, that would rather argue, that rather put comments like ooga booga on my comment section. They think they funny, but I'm laughing. All right, it says 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters and came to another land. And they came to another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth to a further country where never mankind dwelt. So the place where no one was living was called what? It was called the New World. It was called the New World. It was called the New, where never mankind dwells means the New World. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. Arsareth. So the Americas in ancient times was called Arsareth, not America, which is named after Amerigo's Vespucci. All right, let's continue. Watch this. It says, then in the early hours of the morning, when the poor people were still innocently abed with their wives and their children, they would erupt into the town, setting fire to their houses, which were commonly of straw, and burning the women and children alive, and often the men too. Before the poor wretches realized what was happening, they would unalive the people with impunity, and those they took alive, they either tortured to deletion in an attempt to get them to other towns where they might be able to produce gold, or the whereabouts of more gold in their own town, or else, listen close, or else branded them as slaves, Wow. So does the Bible talk about the children of Israel going into slavery? Let's read it again. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they, referring to the Israelites, shall fall by the edge of the sword. Meaning what? The destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. The migration of the Israelites going into the Americas, called Arsareth, and the descendants of the Romans going into the Americas as who? The Europeans, right? And invading their land and finding out this, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive. What's another word for captive? Enslaved into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. We call it history. The Bible calls it prophecy. Verse 64. And it reads, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other, meaning from one side of the earth to the other side of the earth. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. When Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, they came with the wooden cross. When Islam was influenced in Africa, they came with the Kaaba stone. Y'all see that? All right. The Jesus Christ of the Bible is a black man from the tribe of Judah. He is not a European person. So we were forcefully given a new God, a new deity, a new form of life, a new culture, a new language. What are we reading? The Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, or slavery again, with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Meaning you're not going to see your homeland again. The native indigenous that were taken from the Americas and brought to Africa, the native indigenous that were taken from the Americas and brought to Europe, the native indigenous that were taken from their land and brought across the planet, how did they travel? On ships. On ships. Watch this. We just read. Let's read the parallels now between what the Greeks and the Romans did to the Israelites and what we see happening in so-called native indigenous history. Watch this. Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 41. 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 41. It says, and the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much, just like the conquistadors did, just like the colonizers did, just like Spain did. It says, with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. Wow. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the article. Destruction of the Indies by Bartolomé de las Casas. Y'all tap the screen, get the likes up, share the room with at least 10 people. All right. If information is powerful to y'all, share the room with at least 10 people. It says, quote, they would unalive the people with impunity, and those they took alive they deleted in an attempt to get them to tell of other towns where they might have gold, or of the whereabouts of more gold in their own town. That sounds like what we just read in the Bible. Or else they branded them as slaves, wow. So a lot of times people say, hey, Forefront Radio, can you cite your sources? This is the University of Kentucky. We have this document from Cambridge University. We have another document from Yale University. I'm just reading information that you will not learn on National Geographic, that you will not learn on church, that you will not learn in these religious pulpits, that you will not learn in school. Why didn't you learn this in school? Why didn't you learn this in school? Let's read on. It says, they were subjected to cruelties. They were subjected immensely to prove to the cruel, pitiless, and bloodthirsty tyrants they should immediately surrender all their worldly goods and lose all rights to their land, their freedom, their womenfolk, their children, and their lives. Wow. Listen, everything we read, we can verify it with the Bible. We would never have gone to school knowing this. Exactly, right? Because in school, they tell you, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Christopher Columbus, he was a great man. We're reading how great he was based on a first-hand account by somebody that was an eyewitness, that documented everything that took place. I know this is heavy information, especially for those that are new to this. Shalom to you. I hope you're doing well. But this has to come forth because the truth is going to make you free. The truth does not fear investigation, only lies because of intimidation. The lie is intimidated by the truth. This is why I got scoffers coming on my live saying, why are you talking about this? I don't want to hear that. Show me the proof. You're reading out of University Kentucky information and they're like, no, show me the proof. I don't accept your proof. Reading out of dictionaries and encyclopedias, they say, no, I don't believe your proof. Reading out of the Bible and they say, no, I don't believe in the Bible. Okay. Does you not believing make the information not relevant and true? No. To hell with your feelings. Watch this. People think I'll be on here TikTok to get clout. They must not understand. This is not for clout. This is for education. It says they immediately surrendered all their worldly goods, lose all rights to their land, their freedom, their women folk, their children, and their lives. That's what Christopher Columbus did. Blaming Columbus when it's not your history. My family is from the island known as Hispaniola. My family is from the island. This is the dummy that said, oh, you're from Africa. My family is from Hispaniola. My family has direct ties to what happened to, we read earlier about the bloodhounds. We read that earlier. They were attacked and given to wild dogs. We read that earlier already. All right. Somebody says, blaming Columbus when it's not your history. I'm reading my history. I'm reading my history for the kids in the back. This is for educational purposes only. So now, does the Bible talk about the children of Israel having their land confiscated from them, having their women confiscated from them, having their natural resources confiscated from them, having their children confiscated from them? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Here is the prophecy, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, meaning it will happen in the future, if you will not listen to the voice of the Lord thy God. The voice of God is this Bible, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now in church, they tell you, oh, we're suffering from generational curses. They start singing songs like, break every chain, break every chain. They never tell you what the generational curses are. Now we're going to cover what the generational curses are. And this is going to cause you to put your critical thinking hat on. Watch this. It says, let's go to verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, meaning you're going to marry a wife, and another man, and another man, and another man shall lie with her. Because we broke God's laws, God says you're going to betroth a wife and another man is going to lie with her. Wait a minute. Let me go read the quote again, just in case somebody forgot. Let me read the quote again, just in case somebody forgot. Right? Because I know our people, they got a short attention span. Very short. It says, they pitilessly and bloodthirsty tyrants, they should immediately surrender all their worldly goods and lose all rights to their land, their freedom, their women folk. Yeah, we read that earlier. We're going to come back to Leviticus 26 for fire, right? Their women folk, their women, that's talking about their wives. So Christopher Columbus and his cohorts, they took the wives of the indigenous populations. Listen, we read last time that the king that was established in the chiefdom of Hispaniola, that they mistreated him so bad. Although he actually assisted Christopher Columbus when they came over there, they repaid him by raping his woman, his wife. This was a chieftain, y'all, a king, y'all, over an empire. And these people from Spain and Portugal and France and Britain, right, came and did this evil. Listen, nobody gonna get away with these things, y'all. I'm telling you, God recorded it in the Bible so we could call it history and prophecy. Watch this. Now, what about the sons and daughters? What about the kids? Deuteronomy chapter 20. No, what about your land? Watch this, and your natural resources. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Did the native indigenous population have houses that they built And then the colonizers swept them out of their land and said, you can't live here. I'm going to take over this land now. It's mine now. It's my property. Move you to the bathroom. Say you could live on a reservation, right? That's a bathroom, y'all. We reserve you for the desert. We reserve you for land that you can't cultivate. Come on, y'all. That's the bathroom. The worst part of the land, push the natives out and place them there. And then all the other pilgrims, the settlers, the people that manifest destiny their way into this, I pray to God, Jesus Christ, manifesting destiny everybody on the planet. Let God himself come with his chariots to manifest destiny to the planet. Straight up. It says, thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Meaning what? All your natural resources is going to go to Spain. All your gold, your silver, your diamonds, your bauxite, your iridium is going to those that don't have your best interests at heart. Okay? Somebody said JC should have did this a long time ago. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to help you out because maybe you don't understand biblical prophecy has to be fulfilled before the Messiah returns. Maybe you're one of those that's Old Testament only. So I'm going to show it to you in the Old Testament. Let's go to Hosea. I pay attention to the comments. Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. It says, I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. So we're reading out of the Bible. We're reading out of the Bible that God says, I will go and return to my place. Where is God's place? The heavens. When did God have to come down on the earth and then go back and return to his place? Maybe we read about that in the New Testament. I will go and return to my place until they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, meaning in their slavery, they will seek me early. So guess what? The transatlantic slave trade had to take place prior to the Lord returning. You understand? The trans-Pacific, the trans-Indian Ocean, God saying you'll be scattered all over the nations, had to take place before he returned. Let's go to that real quick. Baruch chapter 2. Baruch chapter 2. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. Watch this. We just read Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And that means you're going to be humbled down so much by slavery and oppression that you'll be forced to listen. It says, and they shall praise me in the land of their slavery or captivity and think upon my name and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, not religion, their fathers, not Baptist, their fathers, not Catholic, their fathers, not Jehovah's Witness, their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. Watch this. Let's go back. Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. Watch this. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn and he will heal us. Who was going around Judea healing people? Watch this. It says, he hath torn and he will heal us. He hath smitten and he will bind us up. Watch this. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day, he will raise us up and we shall live in his sight. Now watch this. Watch this. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. It says, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Somebody said, oh, plagiarism is trash. Let me read it in the Old Testament for the dummy in the back. Let's go to Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. Let's go to Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. I love spiritual warfare. Let's get it. Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. Somebody coming in my comment section want to battle me with comments. Watch this. Psalm chapter 90, verse 4. For 1,000 years in thy sight, for 1,000 years in thy sight are but yesterday, yesterday, yesterday. So according from our perspective, it's been 2,000 years, but from God's perspective, from Christ's perspective, it's only 2 days. Sizzle, 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 cook them, let them cook. Let them cook. You the guy. Yo, I love it. I love it. Hey, I love scoffers. Let them cook. Where that emoji at? Where's that emoji? Let them cook. I'm about to change it to that. Let me edit my live goal and let me put let them cook. Where that thing at right there? Let me delete this. Let me change this right here. If y'all want to give me a shout out and put a let them cook on here, let's put that gif on here for these jokers out here that's scoffing. Let's put this right here. Where's the let them cook emoji? I'm trying to look for that thing right there. I'm trying to go through the gifs. I'm trying to look for the let them cook. Where the let them cook at? Here we go. There we go. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. Let him cook. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's get it. Y'all put these right here in the chat. If y'all wanna send some encouragement, all right. If y'all want to send some encouragement, put the lightning strikes, put the let them cook, all of that good stuff. Let's go back. Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. Oh, no. It says, Hosea chapter 6, verse 2. After 2 days, meaning 2,000 years, will he revive us? Are we being awakened today to realize who we are according to the Bible? Yes. Yes. Are we being awakened right now after 2,000 years? Think about this. Think about this. Think about this. After 2,000 years of colonization, loss of identity, loss of language, loss of culture, after 2,000 years, we're waking up now to say, hold up, wait a minute. This Bible verse say, my skin is black upon me. A bunch of slaves reading the Bible now, and they realize that, hey, this story about Exodus, that's talking about us. This story about this man that got resurrected is talking about us. This man called Lazarus that woke up from the grave, this valley of dry bones is talking about us. Wait a minute. This man right here that got beat like a dog, oppressed, right? Mistreated, an innocent man that went to jail by the Roman government, right? Right? He went through the same thing that black and brown people go through today in America. So when Jesus Christ was taken by the Roman government, the police officers beat him down, stripped him and put him in a red robe, aka a red jumpsuit, right? Unalived him, tortured him, beat him, pulled the beard off of his face. It parallels what they do to black and brown people in the Americas to this day. The same descendants of the Romans are the same descendants that took us into slavery in all nations, and now you finding out today that you fit biblical-based prophecies. Some of these watch this. Some of these jokers would not know that they was an Israelite if it was not for people like myself and others that were teaching that we are the lost tribes of Israel. You understand? They used the Roman toilet sponge to give him a drink of vinegar. Exactly. Listen, this man took a Nazirite vow. This man took a Nazirite vow, which you can find in Numbers chapter 6. Right? And what happened? They forced him to drink vinegar of gall. That's the highest form of disrespect to somebody that's making a vow to God to say, I'm not going to take any wine or strong drink or anything like that. Imagine they took this man and put him on a tree, lynched him on a tree, and then turned around and said, oh, here, drink this little dry ass vinegar real quick to dry your mouth out. Worse. Y'all, highly disrespectful. Highly disrespectful. Beat you across the face and say, tell me, are you king of the Negroes? You king of the Jews? Tell me. Somebody said, There's no prophecy of JC. He is not mentioned in the original testament. Yo, let me let the scoffer come up here. I'm gonna send you an invite real quick. Cause we gonna see what the Bible says. I'm gonna send you an invite real quick, cause we gonna see what the Bible say. We're gonna see what the Bible say. Casey was walking just 30 minutes. Bro, I see you on my Bible say. We're gonna see what the Bible say. Casey was walking just 30 minutes. Bro, I see you on my TikTok live making a lot of comments and throwing a lot of shade on the Messiah. Do you not believe in the Messiah?
Messiah only means just anointed, not a savior.
Do you not believe in the Messiah?
Messiah means anointed, not savior.
All right, I'm gonna read something out of the Bible and I'm gonna ask you who this talking about, okay? Watch this. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, the Son of Man, the Son of Man, the Son of Man. Was Jesus Christ in the New Testament called the Son of Man? Yes or no?
Oh yes, he is called the Son of Man, but the Most High is not the Son of Man.
All right, good answer. Let's read on. It says, and came to the clouds with the Ancient of Days, and came to the Ancient of Days. This talking about the Most High, right? Yes or no?
The Ancient of Days is the Most High?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, watch this. It says, and they brought him near before him. So we're reading out of the book of Daniel. This was after Enoch. This was after Elijah. This is during the Babylonian captivity. Who is this talking about?
Israel.
Want him to have the chance to speak.
What, oh, are you an Israelite?
It's talking about Jacob, because he's the
You an Israelite, right? When did the Israelites go up into the heavens? I'll wait. Give me the book, chapter, verse where it says you Israelites went into the heavens.
No, what I'm saying is before ever the
book,
world
chapter, verse. Not what you saying. I want the verse.
I mean, I could go to the book of Jubilees.
Now you want to go to an external source and go to Jubilees. I want a Bible verse in this regular KJV that says that Israel went into the heavens. You're on.
Well, Israel was called before ever the earth was made. You see what I'm saying? They were the chosen
Israel
people.
In the heavens in this verse, or was it said a Son of Man?
Let me speak first, homie. Let me speak.
I'm asking you a question. Answer the question.
Israel was chosen before eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Not just when Isaac had the son. This was already in the beginning, before Adam was created. Israel was the chosen seed. Period. Regardless of how you think.
All right, hold your thought real quick. I want to read a Bible verse. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 3. Let's go to Matthew, chapter 16, verse 3. Let's go to Matthew, chapter 16, verse 3. Watch this. It says, Matthew, chapter 16, verse 3. It says, oh, I'm sorry. I want Matthew chapter 16, verse 3. It says, and in the morning it will be red foul today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. The sign of the prophet Jonas. What is the sign of the prophet of Jonah? I'm sorry, Devon, could you mute your mic for me real quick, please? Total Paul. What was the sign of Jonah?
I don't know. Tell me.
Jonah was placed in the book of Jonah. Jonah was placed in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. Do you remember the story? You remember that history?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's telling you that there's going to be a sign of Jonah where the Son of Man is going to be placed in the ground and then resurrected from the grave. Do you understand that? Hey, Devon, I'm going to ask you again, sister. Could you mute your mic? Because you're on a platform where there's other people here. So if you could be patient and mute your mic, I'll come to you in a moment, okay? Thank you so much. All right. Watch this. Let's go back now again and let's read the text that we just read in Daniel and let's make some comparisons. It says, I saw in the night visions one like the Son of Man, came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Now watch this. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 1. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 1. Acts chapter 1, verse 6. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but you will receive power after the Holy Ghost is come upon you. And you shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria, unto the utmost parts of the earth. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him up out of their sight. While they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand you gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. Let's go back. Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man. You just admitted that Jesus the Christ is called the Son of Man in the New Testament. Then it says, came with the clouds of heaven. Did this say that he came in the clouds of heaven? Yes or no? Tito.
Yeah, I don't believe in the New Testament though. You see what I'm saying?
I asked you yes or no. I didn't ask you what you believe. I'm asking you yes or no. It doesn't require your belief.
I'm gonna say no. I don't believe the lie. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
There's reading and then there's reading comprehension. I want you to think about this for a moment.
No,
I'm not asking you what you believe.
This is what I'm saying.
It's irrelevant what you believe. I'm asking you, does the passage, what we're reading here, does it say that he went to the heavens, yes or no? That's all I'm asking.
It's just like reading a comic book, right? And
now you comparing the Bible to a comic book. I'm done with you. You can't even answer the question. Listen, I don't got no time for no jokers, man. Are you serious? Are you for real? You can't answer a regular common sense question. Does the text say this? Yes or no? It's like you reading a math equation and you're saying, hey, does this math equation say a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Yes or no? It doesn't require belief. It don't matter if you believe it or not. Does the text say what the text says? Are you for real? Shalom, Jacob, what's going on? What's your question or comment? Shalom, Jacob, what's going on?
Know how hard it is to press this dang button, bro? This freaking thing, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I have weird ass like stuff on here. So I can't even like freaking press buttons. Like, I have to go to the whole multi-guest thing go to another button, then find the little unmute button, and then I finally can unmute.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That happens when I
TikTok ain't
act. Hey, it just happens when I accidentally add. But real quick, I want to say no. It was since I'm here, might as well just say shalom. But what I was hearing you ask, it's a good question. We've been dealing with freaking Trinitarians, and you're just dealing with the Old Testament only. But we were dealing with Trinitarians yesterday, and they just can't explain the doctrine. They can't explain it. They can't explain where it comes from in the Bible. They just blurt out a few scriptures that don't mention anything about a 3 persons in one body BS. It doesn't express that anywhere in the scriptures. So with that being said, they actually put themselves on the freaking hot seat. So you did that yesterday. And then they said, you can't be solo scriptura, which you're supposed to be according to scriptures. They said, oh, you can't do that because if you're solo scriptura, you take away the fact that the Bible wasn't compiled until the 4th century. I'm like, you're retarded. You do realize that, right? You do realize that makes
you can't say that on TikTok, bro. You about to get me banned, bro. Hey, drop down and come back up. Drop down and come back up. You can't say that word, bro. Damn. Yo. Oh man, hey, my account is on thin ice, y'all. This is for educational purposes only, man. Oh man, sheesh. Y'all know these people out here soft and sensitive, bro. You gotta be like real, like PC out here.
Soft and sensitive. Okay, I'll say they're institutionalized. Does that work?
Yes, thank you.
They're institutionalized. Anyway, yeah, he was institutionalized because I was like, you're saying you can't be sola scriptura, but the scriptures tell you to be. And it's like, oh, well, the New Testament wasn't really all put together yet. Okay, but was the Old Testament put together? Yes, it was. That's why you see with Timothy, Paul says, you have heard the Holy Scripture since your birth, which means that people had the Old Testament. You can't say that it wasn't together. The only thing you can say is, only thing you say is it wasn't compiled into something called the Bible back then. No, it wasn't. You'd be right there. But guess what? You still got to follow the scriptures, correct? Or am I just tripping? That makes no sense. Right. Yeah, it was bad.
That's exactly right. And that's what's going to happen when you come across different conversations with individuals. They go based on dogma or what they were taught, and instead of research for themselves and investigate for themselves and then correlate everything we're reading with history, so I have no problem with people having conversations, but then when they want to turn it into a debate instead of what does the text say? Show it to me in the text. You see what I'm saying? So that's my only concern with those. Okay, I had another guest that was on here, but they disappeared. What happened to the guest? I just had another guest that was on here. Oh, Jacob, share your thoughts on the topic. The topic is Christopher Columbus and the destruction of the New World. We're going into native indigenous populations and so-called Hispanics, so-called blacks being the Israelites. I want you to share your thoughts on that.
Christopher Columbus was a reject. You hear what I said? Christopher Columbus is a reject. And we didn't like him from the start because when he came over here, he did do a lot of damage to the Native American population. And everybody who followed him just followed suit. So we do not like him, nor do we like to even try to celebrate his day. I was told that years before I came in to the truth. I was told that because a lot of the Native family members were like, nope, we don't celebrate that day. So yeah, trust me, it's just there's a lot of stuff going on there, and there's books on it too. There's a lot of books that people neglect to read. You know what I'm saying? A lot of books that people neglect to read that talks about everything he did. They just skip past it. But yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was sitting here. The purpose of the live today was to discuss that history And instead, I've gotten scoffers and people that want to argue and debate about theological topics instead of just focus on the history. And I find it very, what word can I put this? What word can I put it as? Disheartening. Let me put it like that. I find it really disheartening when it comes to trying to rediscover our heritage and our history and go into the history and share it, and having individuals want to deviate us from connecting back to our roots, connecting back to who we are in the body, and hold on to these vain arguments. You see where I'm coming from? Like they never want to ask the question, is Jesus Christ a black man or a European man? It's always some dogma. Trinity. Who give a damn? Trinity is not in the Bible. Why argue about it? I give them 2 or 3 scriptures. If they don't want to hear it, all right, bye. You understand? Latanya wants to come up. Welcome to Forefront Radio, Latanya. What's your question or comment? Latanya, welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment?
Hey, my bad. I'm gonna drop down real quick. I gotta take care of my class right now.
Understood. Thank you for participation, Jacob. Appreciate you. All right. I'm not sure if the next guest is able to come up. All right. I guess we'll come to you. I am. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment? Okay, the person dropped down, and the other person dropped down. Each one teach one. I'm going to send you a invite. Each one teach one. I'm going to send you an invite. Come on up. Each one teach one. I saw your comment that you put up where you said there is no cultural continuity between the Native Americans and the Hebrew cultures. What made you make that comment?
Because as far as my research and understanding is concerned, I do not see any cultural continuity to make the statement that these two people are one and the same. I understand the Western European concept of hyperdiffusionism, and I
What is
understand
hyperdiffusionism? Hyper means fast, diffuse means to divide. So what is hyperdiffusionism?
Excuse me?
What is hyperdiffusionism?
Hyperdiffusionism is an ideology that was perpetuated off of scientific racism, to think that there is one mother culture that disseminated from particular one area and then spread throughout other areas. We see that with those scientific racism ideas that went on like in the late 1880s and the 1920s, when German scholars were going into Egypt, finding these vast high civilizations, and then coming into contact with other high civilizations, and then ascribing those civilizations to like Egypt or the Mediterranean areas, because they could not fathom, right? Or they couldn't understand that it is possible for other societies, other human beings to have independent thought and independent inventions, even though they may seem similar, but they are different. And that is that is an entire ideology that was perpetuated amongst Western European scientists. Somehow we have gotten to the point
because I don't accept Eurocentric delusionalism. So I agree with that statement. However, when it comes to the Bible, do you believe in the Bible?
I believe in the Bible in the sense that it is a religious text and a doctrine amongst a particular people. Yes.
All right. So in
But it's
regards
not.
to the Bible,
But it's not. I wouldn't take it as a historical
The, okay, hold on. The Bible has nothing to do with religion. The Bible is about a specific genealogy, a specific lineage,
That's
sons and daughters that were the descendants of Jacob. Religion was taught to us through the Bible, but the Bible has no roots whatsoever with Eurocentric or Islamic or Judaism belief system. These were all
well,
Gentiles
well,
that took
well. I
documents
beg
that
to
went
differ because
into.
the Bible is a collection
Let me finish my
of
statement.
ideas that were written down, but those people,
Watch this.
Greeks and other European societies that had
Watch
contributions
this.
to the Bible from what you have today.
Watch this. When the Bible says, "My skin is black upon me and my bones are burnt with heat," is that talking about Greek people or is that black people?
I'm you. I mean, when you are investigating, historically speaking, about a particular text or document that you are reading, the first things that you always have to ask about it when you're trying to get an understanding of it is what, where, why, and who. I just
Mhm.
think, as far as trying to research and understand it, if you don't understand who and what is actually writing it, I don't understand how you can get a full context of it. I understand the gravity of the passage. That's fine. These are lessons that should be applied to all human beings. But to get a full context of the text itself, you would have to know the original language from which it was written, and B, who was actually
That's
writing it.
incorrect. That's an
Yeah.
incorrect statement. You don't
How
need
is
to
that an
learn the
incorrect statement?
original language of Arabic to learn algebra. You don't need the original language of Scotland and Ireland in order to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. That's not a. Rephrase your statement for
That's
me.
an improper comparison when you're talking
Rephrase your
about
statement for me.
that's an improper comparison when you're trying to understand the book itself. If you don't
Okay, so
if you don't understand the original
hold on one second,
context,
Rosemary. Could you
yeah.
mute your mic, Rosemary? I'll be with you in 1 second, please. Okay. Let's focus on the comment that you made. You said there is no cultural continuity between Native Americans and Hebrew cultures. So now, I'm going to postulate something for you, and I want you to research this. There's a book that is called Ancient America. In this book called Ancient America, it discusses the parallels between the native indigenous populations and the Israelites. For example, my ancestors come from an island called Hispaniola, which was divided into two separate countries, Haiti and Dominican Republic. Many of those descendants were Afro-Hebraic communities that came from the west coast of Africa and native indigenous populations that already lived there, and they intermingled with each other. Okay? When you
So
research, you'll find out
sir,
that certain
can you please, all right,
Afro-Hebraic
I have no problem with
languages.
that, but can you please provide the
Sorry, one
evidence
second. One
to
second.
determine that those
One
people who
second.
came over there were part of any Hebraic
I'm
society?
gonna elaborate. I'll give you an example. The Hebrew term for the heavens or the sky is called Shemaim. Shemaim.
Is that a
That's the
Hebrew word?
Hebrew term for the heavens, the sky, the firmament. In the island of Haiti today, the native indigenous populations have a term for the heavens that's called Shemeh, which is the same exact term, Shemaim in the heavens in Hebrew. They say Shemeh in so-called Haiti or Haitian Creole.
So it
Christopher
sounds the same.
Columbus.
So just because it sounds the same, it has the same meaning. That what you're
Let me finish my
postulating?
train of thought, please. Christopher Columbus brought in Hebrew translators to the island of Hispaniola to speak to the indigenous
On which
population.
voyage did he bring them in?
This is on, watch this. I'm going to show
Which,
you real
on
quick.
which voyage? On his
Grab my
first
document.
voyage?
Let me grab my document real quick. Because I have a copy of his English journal, because it was translated from Spanish to English. and I have it on my Discord channel, where in the document it says these.
What,
I'm sorry.
sir? Do you know that during the time of Christopher Columbus, that there was something called the Reconquista was going on, and that people
Yes, the
who
Reconquista were
and the
black
people
Jews and black
and those
Moors that
people
lived in
who
Spain
were
and Portugal.
considered to be of Hebrew faith were actually shunned and kicked out of that particular area, as
Yes, they
well
were
as the
black
Moors.
people.
So what you're
They
trying
were
to
black
postulate and
people.
tell me is that Christopher Columbus, who was a devout Christian, brought people of Hebrew on his ship, when at the same
Yes,
time,
as slaves.
the Iberian
Yes, as
Peninsula was
slaves.
being
Yes,
ethnically
as
cleansed
slaves.
of
Yes,
those
yes,
people.
yes, yes,
How is
yes.
that? You
It
you
was
have
called
no
dumb
evidence of that.
diversions.
We have the
Here's what
ship
the proof,
manifest of Christopher Columbus and the
bro,
people who were on the board. What's the
bro,
name of the person who was on there?
bro,
Who was the
bro.
translator?
I want you to pay attention to what I'm telling you,
Sir, I'm just
because when
asking
I
you for
give
the
you the
name of the
information,
translator. We have the
when
ship manifest. We can actually
I give
point
you
him
the
out and look him
information,
up.
okay,
What's his name?
slavevoyages.org. They
No, what's
have
his
people
name?
out there with
Translator's name.
Afro-Hebraic
We have the ship
language like Vuya.
manifest. What's his
Bro,
name?
I'm gonna ask you one more time. Please do not interrupt while I'm speaking.
Well,
I say
I just
something
asked
and
one
you
question. Who is the name? What's the name of the person? We have the ship manifest. We could easily look him
okay.
up.
You have the shit manifest on you right now, or would you have to
I
look it
can
up?
read you. I
You
can
asked
read you
me
the
for a
ship
specific
manifest of
name.
every person who was on that first voyage
Okay.
with Christopher Columbus. What's
You
his
see how
name?
that's funny? Explain to me why
What's
you
his name?
deviate from what I'm saying.
I'm not
You're
deviating. We could
deviating
just
from
get
what
to the
I'm.
crux of
Yes,
the
you are.
matter. What's his
Because
name?
I said to you, did I not say to you, right? You said there's no connections. I'm giving you the connections based on the research I've done, but then you're saying there's no connection, which means you're not even listening to the content
No, I'm
presented on
listening. You
this
said the
platform.
connection was a
Brother, we've
person
been
who
on here
was a
for an hour and
translator,
a
right?
half.
Did you not say he
Wait,
was
wait,
a
wait, wait.
translator?
We've been on here for an hour and a half.
Did you
Did
not
you
say that
not
you
see the
brought that it was a
parallels between
translator? I'm just
Christopher
asking for his
Columbus
name. I'm getting to the
enslaving the
details.
Israelites? Bro,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
You don't know. That's
I'm
the
trying
problem.
to
You
be
just don't
patient
know.
with you.
That's
I
all.
don't have that information present on hand.
Right.
I'm looking it up
Right.
and you asking me 20 questions
Therefore,
at
he
one
doesn't
time.
exist. He doesn't exist.
No, therefore you're incorrect because you haven't researched this.
I
But
have.
you're
That's the
listening to
problem.
interject instead of listening to talk to dialogue with me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, you show me the proof. You show me the proof, right? That there's no connection between native indigenous populations in the Americas and the Israelites. When they have the same customs like circumcision, they have the same customs like celebrating the new moon, they have the same customs like celebrating the Passover. They have the same customs as Afro-Hebraic people in Africa. The same food, the same culture, the same ideologies and thought processes. There's a book called Black Jews in Africa and the Americas, where Harvard University writes down specifically that the same people that were in slavery in Egypt during the time of Moses was the same descendants of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in the Americas. What are you going to do about that information? That's in Harvard University. They make a comparison between the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ashan, the Fan, and various other tribes in Africa, and make comparisons between the Olmec, the Aztec, the Inca, the Arawak, the Taino, and say, hey, these people are doing the same exact thing that we're reading out of the Bible. They practice in circumcision, just like the Bible says. They're part of a Nazarite vow, growing their hair like dreadlocks, just like the Bible says. They're teaching their children how to use the bow and arrow, just like Jacob taught his sons, and just like Abraham taught his son Ishmael in the Bible.
Sir,
So I'm providing you with the evidence instead of you just listening and saying, you know what?
You tell me.
Let me
You
listen
tell
to
me
the
when I can
information and
talk.
find out if it's true.
If this is
Instead,
supposed to
you
be a
say there's no
discussion,
evidence
you have.
whatsoever.
I've let you going
Explain to
on for
me
about
right
2
now,
minutes now, and I cannot. Go ahead.
explain to me why does the
Okay.
Afro-Hebraic people in the island of Haiti say the same exact Hebrew terms that's in the Bible for heaven? Shemayin Shemin, you're on.
Okay, sir. What you're doing is a tactic called gish galloping, right? Is where you throw out just a
I'm not
bunch of
doing
information.
tactics. I'm
Okay,
asking you. Now ball is in your court.
I've let you talk. I've letting you talk.
This is my platform. You're not letting
Right.
me nothing. I'm letting you speak. You answer the question.
Okay. Are you gonna give me the courtesy to have a conversation, or are you gonna just at this point try to berate me? Can I talk or
Go
not?
ahead, speak, brother.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
what you are doing is what's called a classic term called gish galloping, is where you just throw out a bunch of information without any evidence or any context of what you're saying. What we can do is go
Hold on,
through
farmer. I'll be with you in just a moment, please.
point by point and try to stick to the point and try to search out the evidence from which you claim. It is not upon
All right.
me. When I'm finished, I'll let you speak. It is not upon me to provide you with evidence of these claims that you make. You have to show linguistically, archaeology, from an archaeological standpoint, from a logistic standpoint, and from a cultural standpoint, how those two cultures intersected, right? And what you have presented is a bunch of conversation and conjecture. Trying to show me evidence of a Harvard professor, and I know the Harvard professor of which you speak of, his name is Leo Weiner. Leo
No, it's
Weiner.
not.
Who
That's not the professor I'm talking about. His name is
who are you
Tudor
talking about?
Parkins.
You mentioned the
I'm
book.
talking about
You actually ancient. You
I'm talking
said
about
Ancient
book
America.
four.
Did you not? Is that not written by Leo Weiner?
No, that's not the book I'm referencing.
So
That's
then,
not the
what are
book
you
I'm
referencing
referencing.
then,
The book
sir?
I'm referencing,
Let's go
when I
through the
said
evidence.
it's
Let's
a
go
book
through the
called
evidence.
Black
What?
Jews.
Okay.
Okay, here's a book right
Allow
here
me
that
to
I have
speak.
right here.
Allow me to speak. What is
Go ahead. You got
who
2
is the
minutes till I go
person
to the
from which
next
you're
guest.
referencing?
The Bible as History and Pictures. This is one book.
The what?
Okay. This is one book, The Bible as History and Pictures. I don't know if you could see it due to the fact that the
Yes.
little
Who?
app
Can you
thing.
please cite the source and
Okay.
what are we referring to from the claims
What's
that you
this?
make? What is this? What is this substantiating? What claim is this substantiating?
Let me turn my what you call it off. Hold on one second. Let me take this filter off right
So
quick. Right quick.
let's surgically go through this and unpack this. Which claim is this substantiating that you made?
Okay. For the 85 people that's in this chat, this book right here is called The Bible as History and Pictures. The Bible as History and Pictures. Do you see on the screen black people on the screen here in Egypt, in Africa, as slaves? Put 1 for yes, put 2 for no.
Okay, so sir, that's
Put
your
1 for
first
yes, put
mistake.
2 for no.
Because you're chronologically out of order.
Right, bro, stop.
What
I'm
do
hosting the show
those
right
people
now.
have to
Let me
do with Western
gauge the
Central
audience first.
Africans? You mentioned Western Central African tribes.
Hold on a
What does that
second.
have to
Let me
do
gauge.
when Western?
I
You're
got one. I got
chronologically
one. I
out of
got
order.
one. I got one. All right. Let's
I,
look at it another
I'm gonna
way.
let you. I'm gonna let you stay in your delusion. I'm
Narratives.
good. I'll
It's
take you
okay.
later, man.
I'm gonna continue teaching. It's all right.
I know
You
you
go to
are.
the college professor. You want to
Good.
argue with the college professor.
Good.
Show me the evidence that black people were
Egypt,
slaves
brother.
in Egypt, just like
Brother.
we read in the Bible. Show me the evidence. Thank you for the compliment. Somebody said nice glasses, by the way. Show me the evidence. Show me the proof. You don't got no documented proof for it, friend. You don't got no proof. Etched in the walls of Egypt were Israelites. Etched in the walls of Egypt were Israelites. You ain't got no proof. You don't know what you talking about for, friend. Show me the evidence. Show me the proof. What is this right here? Etched in the walls of Egypt, black women in a book called The Bible as History and Pictures. The Bible as History. Look at the big loop earrings. Look at the necklace. In a book entitled The Bible as History and Pictures. This happens all the time, y'all. People want to come in and flap their gums like they know something, and we got archaeological evidence and proof. And we're reading the information. We're saying, hey, you put your critical thinking hat on. Let's investigate this. Let's verify this. Instead, they say, you don't got no proof, even though I'm reading out of the book. So, right, the guy is rude and talks over, but expects others to be courteous to him. Exactly. The person I'm asking questions, instead of listening, he wants to argue. All right, welcome back up. Each one
Right,
teach one.
right.
How you doing, brother?
Here's
Let's start
here.
over.
Can I let me just let's
Hold
start
on, hold
over
on. Let's start over.
right. So let's
Let's
break
start
this
over.
down. Let's break this down.
Your
First of all, let me
comment
finish. Let me
was
finish. I gave
your
you
comment was. Let me go back to your comment so I can make sure I read it over. Let's start over, brother. I don't want to have no hash with you. I don't want to have no drama with my own people. I just want to have an honest dialogue. You made a statement. Your statement was, if I could read back your comment, you
no.
said, let
You've
me see,
actually
there
made
it
the
is.
statement, sir.
You
That's
said
what I'm trying to get
there
to.
was no correlation between the native, indigenous, and Hebrew cultures. That's what I want you to focus on right now.
That's what I'm focusing on, sir. Do
Go
people
ahead.
today who we call Black or African American are primarily from West and Central Africa cultures from which you named out your own mouth. We're talking about the Mandinka, the Fulani, the Yoruba,
Yes.
the Igbo, the
Yes.
Mende. They all speak for themselves and they all have their unique cultures. None of it is part of Hebrew culture. We have a recent history. Those examples that you just showed are people from a whole nother side of Africa. You're talking about people in Egypt. You're talking about Nubians. That is a completely different region and geographical location. We know exactly who and what we are. Our cultural continuity transferred over the waters of the Atlantic. We have the burial practices here in America. We have Shango. We have Ogun. We have Santeria. We have the
Oh,
cultural
witchcraft. That's what we have.
continuity. We have Urdu. We have the Gullah Geechee culture. We have the language. We have the practices. We have the dances. We have the food. Everything that transpired within the past 500 years, as far as cultural continuity about who and what we are, has already been unearthed and written by our own hands, brother. We speak for ourselves. When you go into the history and you go into the culture, there is no one or no one calling on Yahweh coming off those slave ships in South Carolina, in Brazil, in Bahia, in Central America. There was no one calling on Yahweh. If you really want to get into it, you can look at a particular place called Pernambuco, which is in Brazil, who are those people who we call Hebrew, who came by way of the Dutch, who, yes, practiced those Hebrew faiths, but they were converts by way of the people from the Dutch, not from Africa. Please show me prior to 1492 in those places from which I'm talking, Upper Guinea, Lower Guinea, in Africa, those people who are practicing any type of Hebrew prior to coming over here, brother,
All right.
prior to any interaction with Islam or prior to
May
any
I respond?
interaction with
Now
Hebrew.
I'm asking you permission on my own platform. May I respond to your statement?
Yeah, you can respond.
All right. Now it's your opportunity
I
to
gave you a challenge. You have to
no,
show me the
no.
cultural
Okay, watch
continuity
this.
prior to
Numbers
Islam
chapter
and prior to
15.
Judaism
Okay.
in those areas. Don't talk about Egypt. Please don't talk about Egypt. That's a whole nother side of the region, brother.
Brother, shh. Mute your mic. Let me answer your question. Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. It says, Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. What is this talking about? What is this talking about right here, what we're reading? What is this talking about? I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Each one teach one. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So we just read a text, right? What is that text talking about?
Do you want me to respond, or is that a rhetorical question?
Yes, I'm asking you, what is that text talking about?
Brother, I am not a practitioner of the Christian doctrine. That which
Okay,
you
I'm
read,
not a Christian either. I'm an
hold
Israelite.
on, brother. I asked you as a rhetorical question, or do you want me to respond?
Okay.
You said you wanted me to
Yes.
respond, so let me finish. Let me finish. I am not a practitioner of Christian doctrine. Therefore, you read a statement that is layered in allegory. So you
It's not
would
an
have to
allegory.
explain I'm speaking historical
All
fact.
right, watch this.
And I would
I'll
like
help
to
you.
respond in a chronological, historical. I asked you a
Okay,
question. Please
watch
show
this.
me cultural continuity
Let's
in
show you
those
some
areas
cultural
from which we
continuity, okay?
reside from those particular cultures that we reside from prior to
Okay.
European or Islam.
Okay, thank you for your question. I love the question. Now here's the response. I'm going to show you right now evidence of our people practicing Afro-Hebraic customs even to this day. Even to this day. I'm going to show you the proof so that way nobody's confused. Let me change the template real quick so that way everybody can see it for themselves because we have receipts on what we cover. Let me switch over the camera. Let me switch over the camera here and let me turn this to this right here, flip camera. Here we go. Flip camera. Let's get that right here. All right, let me put the brightness up so you can see it. Okay. All right. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, put a 1 in the chat if you could see this. Put a 1 in the chat, please, if you could see this. Okay. This outfit right here is called a Carabella dress. This outfit right here, this design is called a Carabella dress. We're reading out of the Bible, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they wear fringes in the border of their garment throughout their generations, meaning all their children wear it. And they put upon the fringes a ribbon of blue. Put a 2 in the chat if you see on the bottom of this woman's dress a ribbon of blue and fringes. This is cultural practices that our ancestors kept even after slavery and colonization. Okay? Fringes and a
Sir, may
blow
I
of blue
interject, please,
goes
respectfully?
into culture. Hold on a second. Wait a second. You ask a question. I want to answer your question thoroughly. This is a woman from the island of
Make an improper
Haiti.
interpretation, sir. That is not cultural continuity.
Now
You
it's
saying
not
just because
culture.
it's a
Now
blue
it's not
dress? Do
history.
you know
Oh,
that
wow.
Africans dyed
Explain to me
indigo
why I'm
blue?
reading out of the Bible. Wait.
That's
Explain
an
to me why
improper
I'm reading out
comparison.
of the
That's not
Bible.
historical
And at the
reference of
same,
cultural continuity.
you see,
Go ahead, brother.
this is cultural. Wearing a specific style of clothing, is that not part of culture? Yes or no? Eating a
Brother,
type of food, is that
people
not
of
part of
West and
culture? Yes or
Central
no?
Africa did not wear that style of dress, brother.
Oh, really?
No, they did not. No, they did not.
Hey,
Actually,
this brother right
that is a
here.
very
This is a
Spanish
Carabella
influenced
dress,
dress,
right?
brother. That is a very Spanish influenced dress.
Carabella dress.
Okay.
This is a woman from Haiti. This is a woman from Haiti. What you
Brother,
talking
I
about
said
Spanish?
prior to
This is a black
colonization.
woman right here.
Please show me people
Does
of
this
West
woman
and
look like
Central
a
Africa.
Nigerian woman? Yes or no? Let's go to
Brother,
somebody
please
help
tell
this
me
brother.
people of West and Central
Nigerian.
Africa wearing that style of dress,
Hold
please.
on. Nigerian dresses.
prior to colonization,
Uh-oh.
sir.
Uh-oh. 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 Same head wraps. Same style. Uh-oh. Come on, man.
Okay,
Are you for real?
so you're showing me
Watch
dresses
this.
of
Watch
today where
this.
the whole world is influenced by
Mexican
Western European
Mexican
society, brother.
traditional dress. You ask for the proof. Now I give you the proof. You say, no, that ain't the proof.
So
I
just
don't want
because,
the proof.
so what you're saying is because it's blue
Speak unto the children of
that's
Israel
the
and
cultural
bid them, hold
continuity, a
on, hold
color
on, mute your mic,
that
mute
is
your mic.
Spanish influence,
Speak unto
brother.
the children of
That's
Israel and
European
bid
influence,
them
brother.
that they put fringes in the border of their garment, and they put upon the fringes a ribbon of blue. Do you see fringes on here? Yes or no? Yes. Do you see fringes on the garment? Yes, you do. Do you see a border of blue? Yes, you do. Wow. Wow. Let's look at another one. Let's look at other cultural practices. Let's look at a Jamaican traditional dress. How these people from different islands and different areas and different regions have the same style of traditional dress if it's not a cultural practice, if it's not a biblical based practice. Uh-oh. Look at this right here. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations. Uh-oh. Does this look like cultural practices to you? Yes or no? Does this look like historical cultural practices? Yes or no? People simple out here. People simple out here. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they wear fringes in the. So culturally speaking, why are we reading out of the Bible that God told the Israelites to wear a specific style of clothing, and we see it in modern day times? Is that not evidence of cultural practices and history of our people practicing biblical based customs even to this day? Even to this day, you have so-called African diaspora people
First of all,
participating in
why do you feel it? Why do you feel
in
the need?
Africa.
Why do you feel the need
That's
to
in
mute
the
my mic?
Bible.
We can't have a discussion if you continue to mute my mic, and that's
That
just
was
unfair,
my
brother.
moderator. That was my
Okay, well,
moderator because you was over talking me when I was answering your
I'm
question.
not
So
over.
it
I'm
wasn't me,
really
that
not
was my
over talking you,
moderator.
but we can't have a discussion if you're going to go on
Look at
these long
this.
soliloquies and make improper comparisons. I
Look,
continuously ask you
I'm reading
to
the
please show
Bible.
me the people of West and Central Africa engaging in those particular garments that you're talking about. Because
Does this not look
what you're
like a
doing,
woman from Nigeria?
what you are doing is exactly what I said to you before, which is hyperdiffusionism. You're taking a
This is
kernel
not
of something
hyper-diffusionism.
and
These are,
misinterpreting.
hold on. Brother, this is somebody from different so-called alleged cultures, right?
It's
From
not
different
alleged.
countries,
I
different
specifically
places
asked you to
in the
show me people
Americas and in
in West and
Africa
Central Africa,
doing this.
in those cultures, the Mende, the Fulani,
I'm showing
the
it to you.
Mandinka,
You don't want to accept
wearing
it.
those particular styles of dresses from which you claim. Please
I
show me.
just showed you. You don't want to accept it. I showed you
That is
Jamaica.
not West
I
and
showed you
Central Africa,
Mexico.
brother. Okay, so
I
click
showed you
on that. So
Nigeria.
Jamaica
I
is
showed
not,
you Nigeria. You didn't accept it, brother. So that's on you, brother. What's your next question?
brother. I asked you to show me please pull up the original dress of that woman, that style, please. The original one that
I
you
just
showed.
showed it to you. You don't
Please pull
accept
up
it.
the
It's
original
okay
one,
if you don't
brother.
accept it.
Please
I'm
pull
not,
up the original one.
listen, I'm not here to try to convert you.
I'm
I'm not
asking
here
you
to
a
say
question. Just
join
pull
my
up the
particular
original
church.
dress. Pull up the original dress and the style.
Peace, brother. Peace, brother.
All right, here we go.
Are you
Take a
familiar?
moment
Are
to
you familiar with? Are you
hold this
familiar
real
with
quick. Let
syncretism?
me
Do you know what
hold on a
syncretism
second.
is?
Hold on a second. Let me come to the next guest because you're not the only person here. Somebody else came on the platform. Let me address them as well. So let me be fair. All right. I already entertained at least 10 to 15 minutes of my time talking to
I'm
you.
going to go
Let
back to my
me
original
engage
question,
with
and
you.
you failed to answer it.
Peace, brother. Peace be still.
What's going on, Adisa? What's going on?
Hey, brother. How y'all doing,
Is it
brothers?
Addison or Lisa?
How y'all doing, man? Can y'all hear me?
Right. Yeah, your volume is a little bit low. Are you on like a Bluetooth or something?
No, I'm on my iPhone, but sometimes it goes low. Can you hear me clearly
Yeah,
now?
try to just speak a little bit closer to the mic if you can.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
brothers.
Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, brothers. What I wanted to say was, man, I thank y'all, man, for y'all spreading the word. Spreading the word. We got to come with a better approach, right? But the host, look, man, you on it, and you on fire, right? I'm gonna let you know you on fire. I'm from
Appreciate
Ghana.
the love. I really
I'm look.
appreciate the love.
I'm from Ghana, right? My
Uh huh.
father, and some people are from Nigeria, and those
All right.
Orisha practices that he was talking about earlier. We are all
Uh
leaving
huh.
that for Yah. We're all
All
leaving that.
praises.
You know what I mean? We
All
got
praises.
blue fringes. We all wear it. I'm looking at my fringes right now, and historically, yes, we are the Israelites, and yes, we do have African tribes that do still wear blue ribbons and fringes. Also in Africa, all the way down to South America. So let's not forget about that. So I'm not going to debate because you're right. The brother has to do more studying, but we don't want to bash him. He just has to do more studying. Everybody's not on the same level of
That's true.
understanding.
That's true. That's true.
Not saying that he's
That's
wrong
true.
in a lot of things that he's saying. But see, yes, the Lord spread us across the four corners of the earth. And the reason why he did that is because we left our original first love, which was Christ, which was God, right? We left and we started worshiping these Orishas. And that's when he scattered us. That's why we went into slavery, for breaking the first commandment. When the Lord brought us out of Egypt, right? Out of bondage. Egypt means bondage. A lot of people don't know that. Egypt means bondage. The Lord took us out of bondage, right? And gave us the commandments. And then gave us the covenant. And told us what to do and what to wear and how to eat and all these other things, right? After we defiled that, that's when the Lord casted us into slavery. And this is why we're scattered
You
all over
all
the
right,
world.
brother. You all right. All praises. All praises.
That's it, bro.
And I'm glad that you shared that because a lot of times when we go over this information, we try to condense a lot of info into a short conversation, and we can't get a lot of historical info down pack and biblical context if we keep going back and forth. So I appreciate you sharing that knowledge. Let me ask you this. Could you share some of the comparisons between some of the practices in Ghana and Nigeria that your ancestors did and the biblical texts?
The rites of passage.
What rites of passage? You just
There,
said
there,
rites of
there are
passage.
many rites of passage. Let me speak and I'll give it to
Name
you.
one. Name one that showed continental
Bro,
community.
hold on. Wait. Bro, I
One
already
thing.
dealt with each one. I'm
No, you
talking to
didn't deal with
Adisa
me
right now.
because you
Don't be
won't
rude. Don't do that.
pull up
Don't
the
do that.
dress. Pull up
I'm
the dress.
asking Adisa right
Can
now.
you please
I'm
pull up the
having a
dress?
conversation with. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
Look, bro.
Disrespectful Negroes got to go.
Let me tell you
Disrespectful Negroes got to go.
what the book
Go ahead,
says
brother.
about people like him, right? Do not speak in the presence of a fool, for he will despise your wisdom.
Right. Here it is. We having a conversation. I'm asking you a question. He want to interject. Like, let grown folks talk. You sit in the back. What's going on? Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, in Ghana, in Africa, and even in Nigeria, there are many tribes. And no, everyone doesn't follow the same tribal, culture beliefs. No. But if you look closely enough, right? If you look closely enough, you can see that the Israelites had made a big impact before the separation. Their cultural dress, the cultural food, like we don't eat the swine. You feel me? That's one. Everybody knows we don't eat the swine. We don't even touch the swine.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You can't even eat with somebody who eats swine.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even shake their hand. You mean so? It's more things. It's more things to it. But like you said, I can't go all the way into all the facts of cultural beliefs and differences. But if you look close enough and do your study, you can see. You can see, man. I'm trying to tell you, you can see that
I'm
the
sorry,
Israelites.
can I interject here, please?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Black Unity. Let me finish the conversation with the brother, and then I'll bring you up next. You all right? You already here, so don't go nowhere.
Okay.
Just hang here for a little bit. I'll deal with
Okay.
you in a second. Go
Like
ahead,
my,
Adisa.
well, my people are from like my dad was a Babalawo, right?
Hmm.
I don't know if y'all know what that is, but he was a father of secrets, basically. And
I understand.
a lot of these things, you feel me? A lot of things, the traditions that we believe in the Bible that we thought were fake, like fairy tales, like giants. If you know about in Ghana, in the mountains, in the bush, there's the Tangbun. A lot of the people, the natives, know about the Tangbun, and they can move mountains. They can go into mountains and all type of stuff. I ain't gonna get too tapped into that. You get what I'm saying? But it's facts, man.
All right.
These are the angels, and it's said if you can catch a Tangbun, you can get anything you want because they have the
Okay.
ability. They have the ability to do unearthly things, shall I say?
Got you.
And that talks
Based on
about
my research, right?
yeah.
Based on my research, right? I had a 4-hour conversation with a sister from Ghana, right? And she was telling me how there's a tradition where if a husband alleged that his wife was unfaithful, that they would take her to the priest. The priest will make her drink a substance, and if she was found committing adultery, then her belly would swell and her thigh would rot. Just like what we read in the Bible in the book of Numbers chapter 5. And guess what? Native indigenous inhabitants in the Americas have this same practice where they would bring you before the priest, and if you were caught doing something you shouldn't do, ask them people in Haiti. They know about it. You understand? They call them lugaus and all of that. They call them same stuff.
Yeah,
Our
same
ancestors
thing.
were a Levite priest, but they went to the left side going into witchcraft. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you saying it's the same thing. Like they have different terminologies. Like Santeria, you got what the I forgot what they call them,
Mm-hmm.
secrets, and but it's the same thing.
Brujeria, Lugaru,
Yeah,
Voodoo, Voodoo, whatever name they call it. They just took it away from worshiping the Most High and took it to the left side. You know what I'm saying? But you got any other comment before I go to the next person?
nah, bro, I'm good, man. I'm gonna let you rock out because I was enjoying yo. I just wanted to let you know in the spirit, man, and stay what you doing, brother, because the Lord is about to walk through and clean everything. So just keep
Right.
moving how you moving, bro. And hopefully I see you with those in white. All right.
That's right. Appreciate the love. Yeah, here it is. We trying to educate the people on Christopher Columbus and the parallels between the native indigenous inhabitants in the Bible, but people want to come and argue. It's like, if you don't know the information, why are you arguing? Then they say, oh, show me the specifics. Like I'm not reading out of historical manuals and documents. Like, come on, are y'all for real? So it's like, I'm not here for ad hominems and personal attacks and all of that stuff. Guess what? The waters are turning blood red in different places all over the planet anyway. So either you're going to do what this Bible say or you not. Pretty much. That's it. I'm not here to convert no damn body. Black Unity, welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question and comment?
Hi, thank you for having me. Hi everyone. The each one, everyone, I forgot what his name was saying what is
Oh,
the
don't worry about him.
continuity.
Don't worry about him. We moved on past that. That conversation is over. Let's
No, it was
focus on
about
what
the
we were
question he
talking
was
about.
asking about the practices that still go on today. And I wanted to talk about like from
Oh, okay.
Nigeria
Go ahead.
to Togo to a lot of West African countries, things like marriage practices, they're still the same today. You understand? The Nigerians might do a little bit different. This one might do a little bit different, but it's the same concept. You understand? Where a man says he likes a woman, he has to go and see the elders of the family, of the woman's family, make his intentions known, tell them that most of them, they'll say, oh, I've seen a flower in this compound and I would like to come and pluck that flower. Then whether if it's the girl's father or the elders of the family will now say, oh, we have many flowers, which of them are you talking about? Then they will call all of them. Then he will say, oh, this is the flower I want. Then the father or the elders will ask, if the father is still alive, that is, you understand, will then ask the daughter, oh, do you know this man? Do you know what he's talking about? Then the girl will say, yes, daddy, I know him. And then they'll say, okay, go inside. You understand? Go back. Then man to man, they will discuss things. Then they'll tell you, okay, we've noted your what's the word to use? Like your request has been noted. You go and come back later for a list. You understand? So you go back later, you be preparing yourself. Most of the stuff you do know what will be on the list. There are general things that are normally on everybody's list, like the African cloths, you understand? Definitely money will be involved, drinks will be involved, some maybe shoes, handbags will be involved. There are general things that are most of the time involved. So you go away, you be preparing yourself a little, then you come back for the list, they'll give you the list. Sometimes if you think it's too much, there can be negotiations. Some people say, no, there's no negotiation, that's it. You understand? But they do that in Ghana, they do that in Nigeria, they do that in Togo, they do that in Ivory Coast, they do that in West Africa. You understand what I mean? So, our marriages are not based in going to church and the priest marrying you. No, our marriages are when your parents or your family give you away to the man, you are seen as married. You understand? And the Bible talks about that, the elders giving you away. It says nothing about going to church and any priest, saying, I give you this. You understand? Because the priest has nothing even to do with you. They're strangers. Do you know what I mean? But these are continue. I can't hear you. Your voice is gone.
Matter of fact, you just said something. You said it was in the Bible. So let me touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
It says in Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid, meaning this man saw a woman, he was spitting game to her, talking to her, right? Talking real sweet, shoo. Baby, you look good. How you doing? Right? If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, meaning she's not engaged to another man, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now listen to this. If her father utterly refuse, you still got to go to the father. The father is the one that approves of the marriage or not. It ain't like in America where people are like, I like you, I think you're cute, let's be in a relationship. No. A lot of y'all be in bad relationships.
It's your parents.
Badass decisions. Hold on a second. Hold on. It says, if her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. So wait a minute. In Africa, they doing dowry. They don't do that in Europe.
Yeah, we do dowry.
They don't do that in Europe. All right. Thank you for your comment, brother. Auntie Dor, welcome.
Take care.
Auntie Dor, welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, my comment is I was just listening to what was going on, and it was kind of like a very stressful conversation. But I was thinking to myself that when I enter into a room and I don't understand what is being said, I pray and ask the Most High, because I have to realize that I'm flesh and blood, and this is a spiritual warfare. And sometimes ideas will block other ideas. So, or other thoughts or other, whatever's going on. So I pray and ask God that he opened my eyes, he opened my ears so I can hear, translate it for me if I supposed to know.
Right.
And that's what I think was missing with the conversation, while it was like two rams bumping each other's head.
Yeah.
And I was like,
really was.
wait,
Listen,
one of these
listen.
rams is going to have to
When you see,
realize that
hey,
only
when you
one
see
could be correct. So,
when you see two pit bulls going at it, when you see two pit bulls going at like this, don't stick your hand in. Don't try to pull nobody in. Just stay out of it, sis. That's some good advice. Just sit in the cut. Wait till the dust settles. You know what I mean? and then we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But you was just witnessing spiritual warfare. That's all it is. The spirit in the brother was hindering him seeing the righteousness of the text, because we was going into slavery, was going into colonization. Sometimes these things are heavy for people, and it starts them to get palpitations. Then they start to freak out. That's all it is. So it's all right.
yeah. Okay, then. So I was just wanting him, hopefully, to still hear, to just pray about it, and it'll really will clear up. Or anybody
That's
else
right.
that don't understand it, when you get every time when I don't understand what the person, they appear to be learning, but I don't know nothing they talking about, I start talking to the Most High, and he'll translate what they're saying, and then it's like, bam, I know what you're saying is correct. So anyway, that's all. So I'll talk to you later.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Okay,
All
bye-bye.
praises.
Praise
All right,
to God.
Mike Pratt, welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment?
Hey, Forefront Radio. This is my first time catching one of your lives.
Welcome.
I like your glasses, by the way. Those are pretty dope. How do you wish to be addressed? Because I don't know which card.
Trying to be a little stylish, you dig? But go ahead.
Yeah,
What's your question or comment?
you accomplished that. I was asking, how do you wish to be addressed? Because I don't know what to call you.
Forefront Radio is fine, or
Okay, cool.
Levi is good.
All right. I would like to get your understanding on the people here in the Americas, right? You mentioned that you were looking into Columbus's writings and his travels here. When he arrived here,
I'm sorry, 1 second. Josh Lavio, could you mute your mic for a second, please? Okay, thank you. Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When he arrived here, according to his writings, he used the church to basically take crops, land, look for gold, things of that nature. The people here, they didn't practice any of that. So my what I would like to get from you is like your understanding of the people here. Do you subscribe that they're from Africa? That we're from Africa?
Perfect question. Yes. So when you read the Bible, there are hidden books of the Bible that they try to take out, such as a book known as the Apocrypha. When you read the Apocrypha, it gives you the history of our ancestors' involvement with the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks and the Romans had a large influence in what we call Hellenization, which is the forceful assimilation into Greek culture, Greek religion, Greek ideology. Okay, that's why when you read in it's a book called Maccabees. So now,
I'm familiar with the Apocrypha.
All praises. That parallels to us here in the Americas as well as in Africa, when the descendants of the Greeks and Romans stole our records, our books, our texts known as the Bible, and colonized and enslaved us and removed the understanding of our history of the Bible from us. So the native indigenous populations in the Americas, they were practicing Afro-Hebraic customs, circumcision, the new moon, Passover, okay, Hanukkah, all of these things that you find in the Bible, they would just call them festivals,
So
We'll
my
just call it
question,
our festivals, our
I know you're
traditions.
cooking right now, but I don't want to go off into a tangent.
I'm sorry, let me just finish this thought. When Christopher Columbus came over here, they came with religion. They didn't come with the Bible. They came with it. They came and they just read one text of scripture and they said, "We're God's holy people now. Call us Catholics. And in order for you to get to heaven, you got to do what we say to get to the kingdom of heaven instead of what the Bible says." But our ancestors were already practicing Afro-Hebraic culture and Afro-Hebraic traditions. When I tried to have a conversation with a previous guest, the guest was trying to argue me down about it. But it's like, if you don't know, just say you don't know. Don't try to say, "Oh no, we wasn't doing that," and da 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 da.
I don't deny that we were practicing that, but you subscribe to that. The origin of that comes from Africa.
Yes, the origins of the Bible have its roots in Africa. Here's why I say that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. You can't get no more Bible than the very first book. Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. It says,
And who wrote
"And the
Genesis?
name of the second
Hold on one moment
is
before you read.
Zion.
Who wrote
Same
Genesis?
is it that encompasses the whole land of Ethiopia." Ethiopia, Ethiopia. Where is Ethiopia? Is that in Africa?
Who wrote Genesis?
It's the first 5 books of Moses. Where's Ethiopia
Okay,
located?
so
Is it
Moses wrote Genesis, right? I mean, that's what's documented.
Yes, it's the
Right.
first 5 books of Moses. Genesis,
When you
Exodus,
look up
Leviticus, Numbers,
who wrote,
Deuteronomy.
when you do the research on who wrote Genesis or the Pentateuch period, the first 5 books, you know there's discrepancies behind whether Moses wrote these books or not, right?
Brother, was that the conversation, or was it talking? Were we talking about the
The
correlation
conversation
between
that
the
I brought up,
Bible and
the
the original
conversation that I
writer?
brought up is that do you subscribe that these practices came from Africa? That's what I'm asking you.
Yes. So I read Genesis chapter 2, and I was showing you in Genesis chapter 2 that the Garden of Eden has a river flowing into Ethiopia, which is in Africa. That's why I was trying to see if we was on the same page. I was asking you, where's Ethiopia? Then you went to, like, you shifted the goalpost to who wrote the book. I'm not
I
talking
didn't
about who
shift the
wrote the book.
goalpost. You're using the Bible as a reference.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that you understand. You might assume that I might be in concert with you on certain things, but I'm not. I'm asking you a question to see what
You
you
can tell.
say.
I know his spirit. I have a discerning spirit. Trust me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, with that being said, you're using the Bible as a reference, which is cool. It's good to use it as a reference, but it's not the only reference. You yourself, you've read these accounts of Columbus coming to the Americas. The people here have practiced religion in that aspect in no capacity.
In what capacity you saying? In what capacity
The way
is no
that
capacity?
Christ dying on the cross, all that other jazz, the stuff that's in the Bible, what they practices were based around was agricultural practices. It had nothing to do with the Bible.
You believe in the Bible? Yes or no?
Believe in it in what regard? As historic accounts, what?
Historical accounts,
I'm asking.
things that we should adhere to, things that are morally acceptable in any given society, 10 commandments, don't lie, don't steal, don't commit adultery, cultural practices, stuff like that.
I find certain things written in the Bible to be agreeable. I find a lot of it to be agreeable. Do I look at it as a credible resource? As far as the authors and things of that nature, all of that is in question.
Okay. I'm going to read something out of the Bible, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Hold on for 1 second. Let me pull up this verse real quick, and I'm going to read this text, and I'm going to ask you a question. Hold on 1 second. All right. Can you see the screen right here?
Yes.
What do you see on the screen?
One moment. On this screen, I see what appears to be a river or a stream. That's what I see.
All right. Awesome. Okay. That's correct. So what we're looking at right here is a river in Russia. You can see the snow on the ridges here. You can see the redness of the water. This picture right here is Lebanon. This picture right here is a scientist taking a sample of the water, okay? A scientist taking a sample of the water right here. And this other one up top here is the Bible, and then this right here is another area on the far left side. So now, I'm going to read something out of the Bible. Revelation chapter 16, verse 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of waters, and they became blood. Does this have the appearance of blood? Yes or no?
Sure, it could be blood. I don't know what that is.
Does it give the appearance? Is it red like blood? Yes or no?
I said sure.
Okay. Awesome. How can a book written hundreds of years ago have something occurring right now in 2024 and is documented that the earliest that this happened in modern times was 1844, and then subsequently almost every year since 2012 we've been getting cases of seeing the waters turn blood red? Meaning what? Prior to 1844, this phenomenon never occurred, except in the book of Exodus. When you read the book of Exodus, it talks about this. Now, the Roman Catholic Church, they tried to take the book of Revelation out of the Bible. The Protestants, when our ancestors were enslaved, they tried to keep us from reading the book of Exodus, which is a story about slaves being set free in Egypt, and the book of Revelation. But thankfully, we still have this record to read. So now my question for you is this. If the Bible is not a true book, how do we have a prophecy written in the Bible and we see it happening today?
Well, you asked me how do things occur today that happened thousands of years ago. People eat and defecate thousands of years ago, and they eat and defecate
Bro, I'm
today.
not asking you if people eating shit. Come on, man.
Bruh, you fell off the horse.
I didn't interrupt you or nothing. I was very quiet, man. I let you go through your whole sales pitch. I let you go through your whole sales pitch uninterrupted, bro. I didn't say nothing while you were talking.
Oh, man. Thank you for your participation, brother. I appreciate you.
I never got my question answered. I would appreciate it if I can get my question answered.
Man. Oh, man. He said, I asked him, why is the waters turning blood red? His answer was people eat and people take a dump. Oh, my God. That's the most full of shit answer I ever heard in my life. Yo. Oh man, I can't with y'all. Oh man, I'm being trolled. Oh Jesus, help me! I'm being trolled, y'all. He said people eating shit. Oh my God. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. This one I got. Are these the scholars out here? Is wow. Welcome to the Forefront Radio, Raphael. What's your question or comment?
How you doing? I was just I have a question, but I was just wondering, what was that Bible and pictures book you showed earlier?
Sure. The reference that we went to was The Bible as History and Pictures. It's by an author by the name of Werner Keller. Okay, Werner Keller wrote this book. He also wrote The Bible as History. This one is called The Bible as History and Pictures. The publisher is Hodder and Stoughton. And this book, this copy that I have was copyrighted 1963 and 1964. It was printed in Germany. So you can look up the reference in in Amazon. Hopefully it's on Amazon Books. If not, you can find it either a secondhand bookstore. It's 1963, so I know that there might not be a lot of copies of it, but you may be able to find it. Okay. All right.
All right, I'll
Did
look
you have
into
any
it.
other
Thank you.
questions, comment?
No, that was it. I just wanted to know what that book was. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks. Welcome back, Mike. You got another question or comment, brother?
Brother, you never answered the initial question. I didn't interrupt you when you were rambling, and when you asked me a question, as soon as I went to speak, you interrupt me, you started laughing, you evaded the question that I initially asked you. I'm here for a serious
What's your
conversation.
question? Repeat your question for me, please.
Okay. My question to you once again. Right. You're saying that, and only using the Bible as a reference to prove that we originated in Africa, but you haven't given any type of proof that we originated from Africa. You're giving a reference from a book that you don't even know who wrote it.
Okay. Can I answer your question now?
Uninterrupted, once again, sure.
All right. The Bible says that the children of Israel are black. Do you agree with this statement? Yes or no?
I don't agree with using the Bible as an only reference when you don't know who the authors are.
Stop. When you go to school and the college professor gives you an algebra book, a biology book, you don't give a damn who the publisher is. You don't give a damn who the author is. You take the test because you want to get an A. Yes or no?
No. And you can't.
You don't take the test because you want to pass the class?
Let me
You
speak.
want to fail?
Let me speak. No, I don't. I question all sources. You might not question it, but I do. I question all sources because the source of your information, that's where your credibility lies. When you have a book that's written by several different authors at several different times, and you have no idea the origin or where the author of the books come from, you don't know that Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible.
Brother,
there's no evidence that Moses ever existed.
I see what spirit you're going in. Your logic is because you read a text and you don't know the author, that means you can't validate the veracity of the text. That's not logical.
It's not logical. When you go blindly following something that's written.
Here's why. Let me explain. When you went to school, once again, when you went to school, you took various classes and you learned various subjects by various authors. You never stopped and said, where did this Latinized English come from?
I always stopped and said that. I always stopped and said that. Don't tell me what I stopped and said. You can ask me, but you can't tell me what I stopped and said. You can ask.
Wait. Mike. Hear me out, brother. I'm not saying this to argue with you. I'm just trying to reason with you. When you were learning your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s in kindergarten, did you ask who was the author of the alphabet?
As a child, I didn't ask much of anything. As an adult, I question sources because that's what logic is. Is reasoning. Is called doing research, boots on ground, if per se. You don't just take things blindly and run with them. You might, but I don't. So please don't assume that I do. You can ask, but don't assume that I do.
Making any assumptions. Trust me, I'm not. I'm laughing because the reason why I'm laughing is because you're making that as a reason to discredit something, and it's not an appropriate reason to not research the information presented.
It's not appropriate for you, brother.
I covered the fact that, hold on. I covered the fact that there's a prophecy in the Bible written about waters turning blood red. When I asked you about that, you didn't address it.
I did
Why
address
is there
it.
a prophecy in
I
the Bible
absolutely addressed
of the
it.
waters?
When you asked
You
me that
said yes. You
question, no,
agree
no, no, no,
that
no, no,
it's
no. I
going on.
absolutely addressed it. What you
You
asked me
agree.
was, how does something happen today that was prophesied 1,000 years ago? What was my response? I'm asking you.
So does
What was
that
my
mean the
response?
prophecy is true? Yes
What
or
was my
no?
response? Because I did respond. What was my
The
response?
prophecy mean that it's true? Yes or no?
Bro, what are you talking about? There's
Did
no.
the prediction of waters turning blood red come true? Yes or no?
I don't know. This is something you found.
Okay,
I would have
so
to
if the
research that.
college professor is giving you the information and saying, look, on this particular day, we're going to have a test. On this test, we're going to cover this topic, and you come with an open book, and give the information to the people. And guess what? They say, I don't got to read that. I don't care about the author. Good luck with that on Judgment Day. Good luck. Because when you stand before the Creator and you realize judgments are happening, that's documented in the Bible. I didn't write these
I'm asking you to
predictions.
have a reasonable
So if the
conversation.
predictions are coming through as judgments from the Creator and it's in the book and you don't want to read the book, I can't force you to read. If you don't want to read, that's okay.
Where
But
does
guess what?
society
What I'm going
start?
to do on my platform is I'm going to teach,
Where
and
does
people are going
society
to take
start?
notes, and people are going to learn. That's
Where
it.
does
I
society
deal with
start, brother?
Bible. This is a Bible-based
Where does
platform. Do
society
you understand
start, brother?
that?
I'm asking you a question. Where does society start? Where does society start? I'm asking you a
Where
question.
did society start?
Yes.
What does that have to do with the waters turning blood red?
I don't know why you brought waters coming blood red in the beginning. I asked you, where's the evidence
The
that we
reason
come from
why
Africa? And you bringing up blood red rivers somewhere unrelated. That has nothing to do with
reason
Ash.
why I'm saying that is to prove that the Bible is a true
But you didn't
book.
prove
Because
nothing.
what you're doing on my
What
platform,
did you
hold on.
prove from that?
What you're
That's
doing on my
unrelated to what I'm
platform
asking you. I
is trying
asked you,
to
my
discredit the
specific
Bible by.
question to you was, you subscribe to us being from Africa. What is your evidence of that? That's my
Okay,
question.
watch this. Now, here's my evidence. Let's go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 5. Now I'm going to show you my evidence. Lamentations, chapter 5. Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 10. Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 10. It says, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4. Exodus chapter 4. Exodus chapter 4. Let's start at verse 6. God was talking to Moses, and he said this, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So a miracle took place where Moses' hand turned the color of snow. Watch this. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he plucked his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out in his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh, If Moses was a European person, like they postulate in modern America, and not a black man compared to a black Egyptian, why would there be a miracle of his hand turning the color of snow? Watch this. Exodus chapter 2, verse 19. And they said, referring to Moses, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. Moses was compared to a black Egyptian. Numbers chapter 12, starting at verse 1. Who was Moses' wife? And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman. Where's Ethiopia? Africa. Where's Ethiopia? Africa. Because of the Ethiopian woman whom he married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Wait a minute. Moses was compared to a black Egyptian, and then he married a black Ethiopian woman. Wait a minute. That means what we learned in church was a lie, because they told us Jesus was YT. They told us Abraham was YT. They told us Moses was YT. But we're reading he's compared to a
Brother,
black Egyptian
brother,
and intermingled with
pardon. I
Ethiopian
didn't
woman.
want
Wait a minute.
to
Jeremiah chapter.
interject.
No. You're going to hear this verse today. You're going to hear it now. You asked a question. We got Bible.
It's
Jeremiah
unrelated to
chapter
what I'm
13.
asking you.
Watch this. Where's the correlation
What
between
you're
black people
saying
in
is
Africa in
unrelated
the
to what I'm
Bible?
asking you.
Jeremiah chapter
So you can
13.
continue to
Mute your mic,
speak, but it
brother.
has nothing to do with what I'm
Jeremiah
asking you.
chapter 13. Listen to this verse. Shh. Listen to this verse. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin? What is the color of Ethiopians? Are Ethiopians black or white?
Brother, are you going to allow me to speak or not?
What is the color of Ethiopians?
Once again, what I asked you was...
What is the color of
No.
Ethiopians?
Once again, what I asked
What is
you
the color of Ethiopians?
was...
Thank you, moderators. You see how that go? You see how that go? Once you give you verse after verse after verse, all of a sudden you're like, no, I can't take it anymore. No. You're not answering my question. Thank you for dropping them. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I want y'all to see the spiritual warfare. I want you to experience it. This is what's going to happen when you come across relatives, cousins, scoffers that hate the Bible. Show me in the Bible it's talking about black people. Go start your own live and talk how just start your own live about how you got kicked off the Forefront Radio because you wanted to argue. I love it. I love it. Welcome. Hey sis, how you doing? Welcome to the Forefront Radio, Sister Adira. What's your question or comment? Sister Adira?
No. Wait. Shoot. Mistake.
You hit the guest icon by accident?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
no problem, sis. Thank you for coming up. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna end the live on this note. This thing was hilarious for me. I loved it. I appreciate y'all participation. I really do. Thank y'all so much for participating. You know, you said ask to prove that we originated from Africa, and he says I'm babbling about black presence in Africa. You see, I knew it went over the head. See, that's what happens. We just proved out of the Bible that the original inhabitants of the Israelites were black, not European. And the individual kept saying, show it to me in the Bible. Show it to me in the Bible. Somebody said the enemy gave us the Bible. So why does the Bible predict the destruction of the enemy in the Bible? Let's deal with it. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10. What y'all witnessing, folks, is called spiritual warfare. The battle of ideas, the battle of minds. That's what you're witnessing here. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 7. Watch this. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies. The destruction of the... Wait a minute. Why does the Bible talk about the destruction of the enemies? Why does the Bible talk about the destruction of the enemies? If the enemies was the ones that gave us the Bible, why does it talk about the destruction of the enemies? Hello. Who's the enemies? The French, the Dutch, the British, right? America, right? Who was the ones that colonized the planet? Portuguese, French, Dutch, Saudi Arabia, the Arabs, China, right? Russia, Portugal, France, Netherlands, Scandinavia, Australia, France. You see, I say France like over and over and over. I got a bone to pick with France. I can't wait till the day where we get an immortal body and we got to deal with France. Ooh, I can't wait for that day. The Moors means black Moors. There were three sets of Moors. There was Moors that were Christians. There were Moors that were Jews, and there were Moors that were Muslim. But a lot of people forget that the original Moors, many of them were Jews, like apple juice, orange juice, black juice. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Welcome to the Forefront Radio, John 7:38. What's your question or comment?
Sorry, I'm driving. I had something in particular that I wanted to explore with you. Shalom, by the way. Shalom to you.
Too as well.
Yeah, it looks like they've been giving you a usually it goes a lot smoother when I watch the forefront. I don't know what's been going on today, but
Hey, folks on demon time. That's what it is, bro. Spiritual warfare. But I love it. I love it. They got questions. I got Bible.
right. So one thing that I've been exploring and want to go into in more detail is the history of the Jews in the Luango coast, in which is now present day Gabon, right all over there by Sao Tome and off the coast of Nigeria, that little Gulf area.
Okay.
And they say there were a lot of historians during like the 16th century-ish say there were a lot more, like a lot of people report that there were a lot more Jews there around the time that slavery began. And and so there's still some there. But
yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, have you ever ventured into that topic?
Yes, it was when we covered the Black Jews in Africa and Americas series, where we touched on an ancient map of the Kingdom of Ganata, which was a Afro-Hebraic community that they modernly call Ghana today. And we touched on the various maps that they have showing you the Kingdom of Judah in West Africa, as well as the Mavumba Jews, the Longo Jews, that lived in Angola. We actually did a project called the 1619 Project and the Bible. And on that, we make a correlation between the 1619 Project of the Israelites taken from Angola and how they're called today Gullah Geechee, Gullah, Angola, Gullah Geechee, and they were brought over to the Americas. So we make a correlation there. Then we also talk about the new Christians that were forcefully converted during the Spanish Inquisition. Those were our ancestors that lived in Spain and Portugal that were kicked out of those regions, sent into the west coast of Africa, places like Sao Tome, places like Cape Verde, places like Liberia, places like Angola, places like the Congo, places like Ghana, Benin, and all of these areas. And the descendants of these people groups were taken and scattered all over the planet. And they were practicing Afro-Hebraic customs.
Hold on real quick. I gotta do something real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, it's windy out here, so you might hear some background noise. I'm trying to just take care of something real quick. Get back to it. Bless day, brother. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I'm out here doing Uber.
For the time being,
Sorry.
I'll cover the so-called native indigenous, the Aboriginal, and the Americas first. And then we'll come back next month, in the month of November, and start talking more about Africa and the correlation between Africa and Americas. Previously, we did a lot of talks on various episodes about just the tribe of Judah. So what I want to do is I want to diversify the teachings and not solely focus on North America. A lot of times we just focus on teaching North America, but there's other tribes that got scattered into Brazil, Peru, Argentina. That's why I wanted to start off with the template of talking about Christopher Columbus and his invasion and how the people that he invaded were Afro-Hebraic people, right? But I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like some of them brothers that came up could have simply asked that. Like they're just assuming that you've never, or, that you don't know about none of this stuff. I know that you go over various different topics every day, so I don't know how long they've been watching you or whatever, but, either way, do you have any of those lessons on like YouTube or anything?
I have about 200 episodes on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Just type the Forefront Radio on any podcast platform and you'll be able to find it. Okay. The story of
Well, yeah, I'm looking specifically for
the story of
the
Jesus.
Jews. Sorry about that. Sorry, my
I'm
fault.
sorry, repeat what you said.
Yeah, I'm looking specifically for the ones you were talking about covering West African region.
All right, there's one video that's 4 hours long on Spotify that talks about the
Mhm.
connections of Africa and the Americas. Okay, it's about
Okay.
4 hours long. I actually sit down and talk to a sister from Ghana that goes over some of the practices that are done in Africa that
Mhm.
correlates to the Bible, like the circumcision, like the Levirate marriages, going into if a brother passes away and the next of kin comes in and marries the woman and produces a seed for the child, like we read in the first 5 books of Moses, and
Right.
various other practices that are biblically based that the people in the continent just think they're just their traditions. Okay, it's a
Gotcha.
4 hour long class, so it's good to just pop in your headphones and listen in either while you're at work or you're on the go. Go to the Forefront Radio on Spotify or Audible or YouTube. YouTube is the Forefront Radio 1 and the Forefront Radio 2.0. So I got 2 channels, the Forefront Radio 1 and the Forefront Radio 2.0. That's if it's
Okay.
easier for you to use YouTube. If you got a podcast platform that you use, I would recommend Audible or Spotify or iHeartRadio. One of those. Just type the
Gotcha.
Forefront
Do
Radio
you
in. Listen.
okay? How easy is it for you to get books?
I travel to Africa now, so it's not too easy for me to get books shipped to me. I had a whole like stack of books, like about almost like to the ceiling, that I left in the States. So I had to really do a crunch on what I could bring with me when I got on a plane. Most of my files, I do have a lot of PDF files, like a lot of documents. So people that are on my private Discord, I send them it on a resource section and they're able to download it. There's a book called Puerto Rico, Flame of Resistance. We got 1492 Requiem, which is a book that literally cost like $2,800 at the time. Okay, you could download that PDF file for free. And I got From Babylon to Timbuktu on there. I got Black Jews in Africa and the Americas on there, and we got a bunch of other like stuff like Wikipedia articles and other stuff. So it's a lot of information to try to condense off the top of my head what's on there, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because I sometimes, but I mean, for somebody like you who does this, I think they'd be much better in your hands. So I was wondering if maybe making making an offering or something to your ministry efforts to get some more
Sure.
books or whatever material,
Yeah, that would be
research
great. That would be
material,
really
whatever.
great.
Yeah.
So I use 2 forms. I use Cash App or I forgot to put that up today. I use Cash App and PayPal. If you want to contribute to our efforts to teach, that goes a long way with us acquiring books and bringing it out here in Africa. And
Yeah.
it's right there, APHIELLEVI. So if anybody wants to donate to the
Okay.
Forefront Radio, that's
I'm
going to
gonna
help
take a
us.
screenshot.
To Cash App, yeah. Brother.
Cool.
All right. So I
All
appreciate
right.
it. I really do. Thank y'all all for your participation. Do you have any other question for me, brother?
No, that's it. Dawada for the time, and hope you have a blessed day. Kamya Sharala.
All praise to the Most High.
All
right.
praises.
All right. Tithing is not money. False prophets get money. Did I ask for a tithe? Or did the brother offer? You see how funny people are? Did the brother just offer to support what we got going on? Y'all will sit in. My people are crazy. These folks will buy These folks will buy $200 sneakers and get mad when somebody offers to send somebody $20 to help with the, y'all will invest in the Salvation Army, y'all will invest in the Red Cross, y'all will send y'all dirty sneakers to kids in Africa, but you telling me you can't contribute to brothers teaching and awakening a dead people, and you calling it, where did I say get your 10%? Do I have a church? Father, you see this, right? Listen, I spend valuable hours of my time and energy teaching my people. I have a wife, I have a newborn baby that's barely 4 months old. But people want to argue with me about petty stuff and say, oh, you tithing like you a Christian pastor, you a false prophet. You can't make this stuff up. But then they'll go sit and listen to T.D. Jakes lie and pay $500. The information that I cover, people are covering in Harvard University, man. And you got to go buy a book that's at least $200-300, and I'm covering it on TikTok for free. This is why I do subscriber live onlys, y'all. This is why I'm gonna start doing that, because y'all be playing with people top out here, man. Y'all be playing with people time, energy, family. I just got to start doing subscriber only. People that's interested in the content, they could come in. People that's not interested, thank you, appreciate it. Somebody said, oh, congrats to you and your wife and your newborn. Appreciate it. Y'all, they got me over here sweating like a Christian pastor. The hell is this? The hell is this? All right, I'm done. I'm done with the internet. I'm about to fast off the internet. You're going to see the Forefront Radio maybe next week or next month. I'm done with y'all. I can't. People really think I do this for clicks, for likes, and for money. Y'all, I'm out. I appreciate you all. Shalom. I'm going to take a break off the internet.